All right, we are live. We're officially live. I forget what's going on today. All right. Uh, so I figured I was gonna talk to you guys about Niagara Falls. So I've emailed James,
Mhm.
and he doesn't have any corner table for me, so that's fine. And he's gonna refund me $100 or something. And I said that's fine
Nice.
too. I'll just get a credit for next year or something like that.
Yeah.
Make it easier. And as long as I'm with you guys, so he's gonna stick all four of us, including Michael.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah.
So sorry. So did he assign you your table already, or?
What? No. As I told him, just to keep us together, right?
Ah, okay, got it.
Right.
Nice. Yeah.
As long as we're together, I think we're near the exit, or in the parking lot. I think that's what he's planning to do. no, no. That's fine. Then I asked him about the social media stuff, and he gave me that link. So I'll start
Okay.
creating. I want to create some banners and stuff, and just start posting right away. And I'm thinking of throwing up some commissions pre
Oh,
that, right? Because
right.
we still got a month, right? A month, right?
Right.
April, then May.
Yep.
No, 2 months, right?
Uh-huh.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at 2 months. So if we can market, I'm gonna put up maybe 5 or 6 commissions based on
Okay.
that for people who wants to pick up at the show, because
Mhm.
that would make it easier, right? So you can do the commission and either take half front and the other half when they show up the show or something like that, or take the full amount and when they
Mhm.
show up the show they just pick it up there, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's what I also used to do.
Yeah, it makes it. I think it makes it a lot easier. So that way, I'm guaranteed that the table will be covered for, and the hotel will be covered for, and everything else
Right.
is just us hanging around and
Right.
doing things. Right. That's it. I mean that's really the situation. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna stay at the Wyndham Ramada or somewhere. I think it's about $100, $97 or something
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
a night. So that's not too bad on Lundy Lane there, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get something with the night, like those heart-shaped hot tubs, and you guys are welcome to come by and
uh,
Hey, careful! You're live online. People might go, "Hey, how much
right.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
you
It's
want
just
to join? You might want to join."
$20. It's $20.
uh,
What we do for money.
Uh, well, okay. Well, before that, like, are you bringing anybody else with you?
I don't know yet. Caitlin's done school,
Hmm.
but I'm thinking she might end up with a summer job,
Okay.
right?
uh-huh.
So that changes everything too, right? Having a summer job. Um, yeah, if you end up with a summer job, then you'll probably end up working, so you're not going to get any time off, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's really when it comes down to that kind of. I think this is the wrong.
Yeah, because you normally have your helper with you at the show.
Yeah. But I think the first year I didn't have anybody. That's really what it was. Or no, first year I had Kate, my daughter, right? And she
Right.
was young at the time too, right? The issue with that was I wanted to come over and hang out with Ollie and all that stuff later, but
Yeah.
because she has it was Sunday and they had school or
All
school.
right.
Remember?
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's a different time. But if I bring my nephew this time, my only issue is if I bring my nephew, like half my income will go to his food, right? Like he just doesn't eat like one sandwich. He eats like 8 or 9 sandwich, right?
Wow.
Growing boy.
Really?
Yeah, he's a grown boy, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Quite honestly, I know sometimes it's funny because I'd complain to Mike or anybody that's who will hear me out, but like, yeah, I'd be complaining. I go like, yeah, at the table, I'm usually by myself, like when I do shows,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, yeah, as much as I'd love to have an assistant with me, but I'm going like, that's another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So you end up with like you gotta an extra mouth to feed and entertain and stuff, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather just go out, have dinner for real quick, grab something from the uh, no frills or something like that, right?
Right.
Something quick and easy at the hotel and just rest up for the next day. That's really what it is. Just I'm not as I'm not gonna go out and party and all this other stuff.
No, yeah.
I don't need that anymore.
Right.
Not at this age, anyways. Right?
None of us do that.
Yeah.
At least not anymore.
Right.
That's yeah.
That's really what it comes down to is like what do we do afterwards and stuff like that. We'll go out and we'll meet and we'll have dinner with the groups or meet up with
Mm-hmm.
people and all that stuff. But even then, it's a long day. Remember what time is it? 10 till what? 5 every
What?
day
Yeah,
or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that. The Saturday would be the longest.
Yeah. Then Sunday will be the shortest, right?
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
got to pack up, get in the car, wait in
Mm-hmm.
line to get out, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
an
Right.
hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Then for what you call it? For us after that, it's another 2-3 hour drive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So that's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, no, even like say for example, it was a Saturday and Sunday. I'd like everybody to understand that like um yeah, I guess yeah, we're at this age right now where it's like yeah, we're just too tired because not just like spending the whole day, being at the table or selling stuff. You know, take into account that you know before the day we've been preparing for that weekend,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So like yeah, by the weekend comes, like yeah, we do try to like uh try to find some sort of energy to get through the day, but quite honestly, again at this age, I'm running out of steam by the
End of
time
the night.
Saturday,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Right.
okay, I need to preserve some for tomorrow, which is Sunday, So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why, yeah, for me it's like yeah, I go like after Saturday, like a Saturday show, I just want to find something to eat real quick and
Mm-hmm.
just relax, and hey, maybe there'd be time for a little bit like chit chat with whoever I'm with, but honestly, after that, like I'm ready to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is a long day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing cons and stuff like that where we're going out, meeting up people at the bar, drinking, coming back. Then next morning you're just kind of like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. Right?
Right.
you're like, you're like, yeah, I shouldn't be drinking like that, right? And it was like, and you look at your tab, and it's like, oh my god, I spent like $30 on 3 drinks, about $10 a drink. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like,
Yeah. Uh,
what did I get out of it, right? Like a hangover, or bad
yeah.
taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
It's a different time now, but
Yeah.
this year, like Niagara Falls is just to see you guys,
Oh
and
no,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be
Mm-hmm.
good to see you,
friends
man.
and stuff like that. That's really what that is.
Yeah.
It's vacation for me,
Okay. Yeah.
right? That's what Niagara Falls is.
Right. Right.
Yeah. For me, even for me, like this is the only show that I'm doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
All he doesn't do as many shows as he used to.
yeah.
yeah,
Um. I'm gonna take that as like, hey, I miss having Ollie or anybody else that I used to travel with, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But I know for me, it's like, I think people know that I have a full time job outside of like the convention. But yeah, going to the convention for me, it's like my vacation. Well, it's another like mindset that I love putting myself in because
Mm-hmm.
quite honestly, my full time job is not really, hey, it makes the money, but
It's a therapeutic for you, Kat.
hmm, but yeah. So I guess for me, it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is I actually, you know, I do actually love attending the cons, whether I make money or not. Yeah, so it's like, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm there, like you said, like I'm there to like see, people that I enjoy seeing, and
Yeah, right.
conversing with, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like just getting immersed into like, yeah, just the comic book world, in which we all know that it's part of our childhood that
Yep.
I still want to keep being involved with, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a bonus that I'm making, I'm making some money,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
extra money, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you you hear about Diamond being bought?
I saw. I thought I saw like, yeah. I thought I saw something on online. I didn't read it. But what's the latest?
So what happened was Alliance Entertainment bought Diamond. So Alliance Entertainment, remember, is distribution for collectibles,
Okay,
cards like Upper Deck, tops, um, statues, all that stuff.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so on Wednesday, yesterday, yeah, yesterday, the person, I guess the owner of Alliance or the CEO of Alliance, went on, I think, Beyond Wednesday, a show on, and said like, look, we haven't, we bid it, we won the bid, but we still haven't owned Diamond yet, right?
Okay,
So it's very early,
Yeah.
but our interest is not to sell anything under $5.
what does that
Oh,
mean?
So that means that
all comic book, you mean?
all comic books are pretty much done for, I think.
Oh.
So it will be trade paperback, graphic novels, that
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
there's a big advantage of that. They bought that because they have a lot of retail space, like Walmart and Targets and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
like GameStops and all this other stuff. So you'll see more of the comic book kind of books, but it won't be. I don't know if they'll carry like like I don't know if they'll carry like Marvel and DC, because Marvel and DC has their own distribution, right? Lunar
Yeah.
and all the other stuff. But
Yeah,
you
Mm-hmm.
won't
Mm-hmm.
see like small press, indie press comic books, like maybe Dynamite, or unless
Mm-hmm.
it's a graphic novel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what that is. Like, yeah, uh, like what's the point for them to because Alliance Entertainment is like a $1 billion company, right? Alliance. They remember they used to do movies and stuff like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They used to distribute films and
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
other things, right? Video games and DVDs and all the other stuff back in the days, right? So for them, like, why would they invest or get small press, right? Like Red Sonja, where Red Sonja might sell
Mm-hmm.
2,000
Mm-hmm.
copies, maybe,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
When you can get a graphic novel that you can put on the shelf for indefinite time, right? Like Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is the situation that um, for that what do you call it? Yeah,
issue.
yeah. Like the thing with that is, I think that's what's happening. I think the comic book industry, you know,
So it
I don't
doesn't
know about the retailers.
actually it doesn't help. Like the because the comic book, they're what? They cost only $5 or less than $5, right? Or
Yep.
so they're not gonna carry that. So like the regular comic book, issue by issues, right? If they're not gonna carry that, so yeah, what will happen with the comic book?
Yeah, that's the thing you're going to run into is okay. Well, if they're not going to carry those books, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
What will you know? What are they going to carry? That's really what it is when it comes down to, like, who's going to
Hmm.
carry what. And
Yeah, yeah, that's what I say. Yeah.
that's the thing, right? Like, it's cool if you are a retailer who has the space to put the statues, to put
Hmm.
all this other stuff. So now you can have statues and trading cards and stuff, right? At the end of
Right.
it, but you're no longer a comic book store. You are a collector's store, I guess, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You're selling mostly graphic novels. You're selling
Yeah,
mostly
yeah.
trade paperback. You're basically competing with Barnes and Nobles and Walmart and all this
Hmm.
other stuff, right?
Well, even
Hmm.
dollar store.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is do you have the buying power like Walmart? Because Walmart can come in and buy like 100,000 products and still
Hmm.
put it on the shelf and go, well, we're gonna take 25% off, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
put a sale while you are a comic book store, right? Who buys 5 copies.
Hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Exactly.
there's that buying power issue too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So there's plus and minuses to what's going on. But again, I think we're calling it done for the comic book, the floppies, anyways.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
yeah. My complaint with the comic book thing these days now is that the multiple covers that they do for one book.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I'm really not a fan of that because I'm going like, man. Sometimes, no, I think the reason why I blame myself too, and in here, this is where I'm going to shoot myself in the foot because, like, sometimes um I get into that like thing where it's like, yeah, I almost forget I bought that book already,
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
and then when I get home, because it's a different cover, and actually this is like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes they'll still have those books on the shelf and all this. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
but it was
I'm
like this
mistaking it.
third
I'm
printing.
mistaking it for like the next issue, and I buy it.
Yeah.
And the next thing
Hmm.
you know, I open it and go like, oh crap, this is just the
Yeah,
alternate cover.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, I've been I'll admit I got caught like maybe more than 3 or 4 times with that, like just being
Hmm.
ignorant and just like because they're sealed in that bag. And so sometimes you're being respectful. You don't really want to open a bag to not to so I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's where I caught myself. Like I bought like the same issue twice because I didn't know that was just an alternate cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I do that because of you go into the retail store and it's the third printing of the absolute Batman #1,
Hmm.
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's #2 or #3, so I just grabbed it, not
Right.
looking at it, right? Because
Hmm.
either I'm in a rush or something. I come home and it's like, damn it, I got two
Oh,
copies,
yeah.
and
Right.
their variant covers and stuff like that. But at the same time, my commissions are variant covers, right? Right?
Well, no, that's a different thing. Cause like it's a the blank cover is for you to customize, right?
No, I'm talking about like when we're doing variant covers for Kickstarters.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know
I
what
get
I
it. I
mean?
get it. Sorry, I
That's
didn't catch
our
it.
that's our little bread and butter too, right? So
No. And believe me, like for all the artists that got involved into like being part of that, like cover A, B, C to letter,
Mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah.
that they got hired, but then yeah, for me, I guess I'm just like going like, or at least they should at least like I don't know have some sort of bold letter saying like this is, or just or bold number. This is still issue number 1, or this is still issue number 2 type thing, right?
yeah.
Sometimes it's so like they hide it so well that like I'm going like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Again, I blame myself too for being ignorant. So, um, but it doesn't take away from the fact that like, yeah, they're. I mean, even at one point, weren't they complaining that there was not enough paper stock out there to print books?
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything about that before?
That's in the U.S. though. It wasn't there enough paper stock here of in Canada,
Okay.
right? Most of it's all like the U.S. base. The the guys down there being tariffy and stuff,
Right.
right? And they're pretty much eating up their own supplies because everybody wants to stock up,
Mhm.
right?
Hmm.
So they're stocking up so that way they don't get zinged with the tariffs,
Oh, okay.
right?
Mhm.
Like that's really what this is. This is about supply and demand. And if you get ahead of if your warehouse is full of the paper, at least
Yeah.
you can keep your price low for a little bit,
Mhm. Yeah.
deflect that increase because or some companies are doing it for like nefarious reasons. It's just because they wanna stock up, and that way they can, if the tariff happens, they can increase anyways, right?
Right. Um. Yeah. Did you guys pick up any new books this week?
My LC, the Planet X just emailed me yesterday that says diamond stuff is delayed, so I'll go tomorrow.
So you didn't pick up any blank covers?
I no, not till tomorrow. Tomorrow is because they hadn't arrived,
Ah.
I
right? Because
haven't
of
been
diamond
to.
delay. Go ahead.
No, I haven't been to. Mostly another comic book shop in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah. All good.
like I
Well.
did pick
Hmm.
up these if you guys are interested.
What a what is that? Famous comic.
Let me make myself full screen.
It's not a sketch card.
Nope, it is a 1992 1992 pack of official first famous comic book creator.
Hmm.
Wow. Hmm.
So while you guys are here, let me open up a pack.
That's nice.
This cost me $5
I was gonna ask.
when it was gonna, and you had a box, and there's no smell of bubble gum, so that means this doesn't have any bubble gum in it,
Uh huh.
and it is comic book creators.
Comic book creator.
Yeah, here. Let me. You'll see. It's sexy. It's sexy comic creator in their environment.
Huh?
So you get you get Dave Wenzel, who is
Oh, okay. Trading cards.
artist, right? Oh, this one's a little damaged down here. You got Rick Geary. I
Six
don't know any
irons.
of this. Oh, look at this. I
Ooh,
hit the
That's the
key
man himself, George
Oh,
Perez.
wow.
with
Wow.
all his hair. Look at all that hair. Look at all
Uh-huh.
that hair. Right? So, George Perez, right? World renowned drawing super. Oh my God. The text is so small.
Uh,
There we go, right? Astonishing tale, right? Right, assistant to Rick Bucker in 1973, right? And this is what you're looking at. Bill Everett. Oh my God, why does
Ooh.
his name sound so familiar?
Bill, no, yeah, his name sounds familiar too.
Right,
mhm.
Sal. Oh,
There you go, Mr. Yep,
Oh,
Mr.
Sal
Marvel,
Buscema.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Mr. Marvel. What's the book called again? How to Draw the Marvel Way. Book.
That's right. That's
Right,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got a Jim Shooter.
Mm.
Look at that. Right. All right. Then I got Howard Cruz. Oh, I can't pronounce Kurt Schaffenberger.
That one sounds familiar too.
Yeah, he did the Kurt did a lot of the like the 1927 like kind of like he did like Captain Beatles and all these other like weird comics at
Right.
the time. Like there you go, Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
right? Like really like German fighting Matt Wagner. Look at that.
Grendel.
Yeah, you are correct. Look at
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Right? Wayne, right? So
I don't
he
know that
is
one.
draws right. Atlantic Carl. Well, let's see. So Wayne nominated Russell. Let's see. What is it? His first work was Marvel Rival, Black and White magazine, Savage Tale. There you go. When Marvel did these magazine style books back then, right?
So, are they featuring just writer and artists? Are they doing colorists and letterers?
I think it's mostly artists. I don't know anything about this set. I just saw it, so I
cool,
did.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's what I did with the.
I didn't see that at Gotham. Maybe maybe
this wasn't at any of the comic book store. This was at a card collector shop.
Oh, okay. So it's a specialty.
Oh,
It
okay.
was.
Yeah.
It's all like there's only a few of these. That was it. There were $5, and I said, okay, I'll take all 5.
No way.
Wow.
And that's it. I mean, these are it.
How much did it cost?
Originally,
Yeah.
I think they were 50 cents, but they're $5 a piece.
Oh, okay, $5. Okay.
So I took all 5, right?
It
was just like behind the counter. It was like like a stack, and I said I'll take all 5. And that was it.
That's pretty cool. That's a good
Yeah, that's a good find.
Right. So I'll open up these later.
Yeah. Well, if you do, let us know who else you got.
Right. Yeah.
If you get Ivan Reese.
If you want, I can open them all.
That.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, let's open them all then. I'll go full screen.
I'd love to see the other creators.
Right. Okay. So.
No, you guys know he's my favorite artist, right? Like.
Yeah.
That's my guy right there, Ivan.
Yep.
Okay. Let's.
How about you, Locke? Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite is I felt like my favorite like was the Frank Frazetta, the Conan the Barbarian, the Red Sonja guys.
Right.
those Savage Sword of Conan artists kind of like
Oh,
stuff,
oh,
right?
Patsy.
Yeah, the fantasy stuff, right? So
So you don't have any like
modern ones, my favorite, still like Eric Larson, Frank Miller,
okay,
uh,
okay.
the guys in the '90s. I like Will Pataccio's stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I gravitate towards his stuff, but
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Sylvester. I think Sylvester.
Silvestri?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got Mark Hemp. I think I got. What do you got?
Don't
Larry.
know. Larry Hama,
Hama?
G.I. Joe.
Was it G.I. Joe?
Yep.
Yeah, Iron Fist. He was at the Wallywood studio kind of thing. Neil
Oh look.
Adams contribute stuff.
Mhm.
National Lampoon. So he's well known for the
Larry
Fist
Hama.
there, right? Mike Barr.
Mike Barr, inker
Yeah.
or editor? Oh no, Mike W. Barr. It's like that. Didn't he? Oh
Editor,
no,
He wrote Murder Can
writer.
Be
The
Comic.
writer. The Batman.
writer. Yeah.
An editor. Yeah, his name sounds so familiar. He worked for DC. Bo Smith, he's writer.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. Was the X-Men or the? So Bo is typical
Bill
real.
Smith.
Blah blah blah. I'm trying to read off the screen. It's better because I can't see the
And this is why we don't go on Saturday night.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's why we don't go. Right. That's why we don't go out on Saturday night. Oh my God, Clive.
Clive
Look at
Barker.
that. Clive Barker. Everybody
Mr.
knows who that
Hellraiser.
is, right? Yeah, Hellraiser, the whole bit, right?
hmm
Gary Kratz,
What?
artist.
I don't know.
That look at the '80s
hmm
80s pink shirt and the hair.
Dial.
Yeah, he is known for. There we go, Savage Sword, Conan.
There
Stuff
you go.
like that, right?
That's your boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Starling with all his hair.
Ooh,
Look at that.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Starling. There's a colorist right there. Painter and colorist right at the bottom. So Starling started out.
I think he's gonna be one of the Comic Con.
Is he?
I
You
don't know.
can
If it
find
was
it. Get him to sign. Oh, look at that. I got Sarah Serigal right there. Michael Gilbert.
I'm not-
Letterers too. Publishers. Right.
Hmm.
I got. There we go. We call it Gru
Sergio.
the Gru.
Yeah.
I used to read these.
Oh, yeah.
In Mad Magazine, he always draw those little things at the corner of the books.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's when I first noticed him.
Mhm.
The corners are all bent. Oh well. Will Messer Loeb, right? Painters, colorist too. Looks like he's missing an arm.
Better.
I think whoever did this Photoshop because I think he was holding somebody.
All right. Yeah.
Like half his body's missing.
That is so ghetto.
That is so weird. This is pre-Photoshop. You got to remember that, right? So
Oh, that is so ghetto.
Charles Vass. Why does this guy
Oh,
name
I
artist?
think he collaborated with Will Portacio. I think
Oh,
on
yeah?
Jack's Tale, Marvel Fairies, Amazing Spider-Man, 1986, Web of Spider-Man. There we go. Epic. There you go. That's why he sounds familiar. And Dark Horse.
I might be thinking of a different. Like no, I might be thinking of another book. No, I don't think he's with Wills. So.
Mhm. Mhm.
And our final here.
Inker.
Yeah.
Close chance.
Painter, colorist. Well, there's Jay Joma. I always love that look of him. He
Yeah.
looks really, it looks
Grumpy.
like Adolf Hitler at the time. But yeah, right. Okay, so that is 2 decks right there. I'm sure there's a double in here somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you haven't. You don't have a double yet. I don't think you.
No, I don't have. I haven't hit a
Yeah.
double yet.
Right.
Man, if only I had this. If only I had Jim Shooter and George Perez at the time of Niagara Falls.
Right?
Right?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
This would have been
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. That's amazing.
It's
Too bad. Too bad.
too bad.
Too late.
Too late. I know, right? Too late.
You can always
Yeah.
have.
No.
Sorry, I was gonna say something stupid, but I was gonna say you can always hold a seance and then see if they can
Yeah, let's see
spell
if
out
we
their
can
name.
find it.
Spell out
Yes.
their name and Ken Macklin. I don't know who that is.
So he is
Oh,
Fraggle Rock.
Hmm.
That looks like Fraggle Rock. Star Reach. Adventure Time Space from Eclipse magazines. These are really, really rare. I don't know if he's still around. That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some
Yeah.
of these guys are not.
Oh,
John, there we go.
Jumbo
Fukushima.
Shrimp.
Yeah,
Fukushima, yeah.
double. There's your double right there, right?
that's my double right there. That's my double.
We spoke
Not
this
bad.
too.
Larry Martyr, right? Writer, colorist, letterer. I mean, these guys used to do a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Zott, I remember that, Scott Zott. These are like really like off, like most of these guys went to Jack Kirby school, right?
Mm.
Marv Wolfman,
Yep.
writer,
Teen
editor.
Titans. Teen Titans
Did he do T9 showcase Johnny Spider Man? Yeah, Spider Woman.
with George.
Tomb of Dracula. There you go. That's why everybody's looking for that.
Artists.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he's
very 70s haircut kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
X-Men 18 the New Mutants 1985. There you go. Right?
Hmm.
Justice League, Born to Be Wild, Eclipse. He did a lot of like indie books.
Steve Englehart.
Steve Englehart. That's I think this is Doctor Strange, and I don't know what that is, but that looks like a printing or ink smudge fingerprint there. So Kung Fu, Master of Kung Fu, Doctor Strange. That looks like very Doctor Strange. There you go. Art, Marvel. Right? Sam, I don't know.
Sam yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Gladsmith.
Yeah.
This is Savage Sword, Hercules, Tarzan. Yeah, these are the
Oh, that's
older
right. Older one. Yeah.
older guys. Yeah, Sergeant
Yeah.
Rock. Yeah. I was never into Sergeant Rock, or most of these guys are like the 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam, right? Timothy Bradstreet. So he mostly did, I think, yeah. Clive
Yes,
Barker, yeah.
Cover artist.
Constantine? Did he do content in there?
I'm trying to see here.
Oh, no, wait.
Showrunner, Games Run. He did these like Clive Barker's Doctor Who books, right? So I'm assuming he's a UK based. Joe
Mhm.
Station sounds so familiar. Artist, art director.
He sounds familiar too.
E-Man. What else? Legion of Superhero, Justice Society. There you go. Hulk. Avengers. Like that. Omega Man. There you go. That's what I remember. Huntress. Right. Ken McLaughlin. Macklin.
Macklin.
Writer, painter. Again, these are looks like they are UK based. I see a Frago Rock, so I don't know if that's my double or not. I'm just gonna put that aside.
I think that's a double.
Yeah, and here
Oh,
is
wow.
Mid.
Jack
Oh,
Kirby.
there you go.
Oh man.
here we go.
You got
Wow.
the king.
I got
Yeah.
the king.
Wow.
I got the king. There you go. Oh, and my favorite.
Oh,
There you go.
there's the
Oh
spirit.
wow.
Himself.
There's the spirit.
This guy, I study a lot of his stuff to do storyboards.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
He
Do you know?
Yep, go ahead.
I named my eldest Will Eisner.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. His Stanley's name is his full name is Will Eisner Stanley.
Oh, wow. See?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. He's really good.
This is fun. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whoever's
Yeah.
watching, getting some a little bit of education here as well too.
I don't think anybody's watching right now, but we're okay.
All right.
People
Oh,
will
yeah.
watch afterwards, but it's
Yeah.
okay. So I got Mark, writer, and he is responsible for, let's see, Amazing Chang, the Chang Clan, Elixir 1970s stuff. The New Gods, there you go.
Mhm.
He wrote a lot of the Gru adventure, so I didn't know that. I thought it was the other guy who did it, but apparently he wrote it. Hollywood Superman, yeah, mostly TV. Became TV writer, according to this.
Mhm.
Gary Morrill, guy with a pipe. You don't see that very often anymore, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So that looks like again, he did a lot of war, horror, sci-fi, couple Captain America, Man Thing. There you go.
Man
Right.
thing.
Yeah, it was a Swamp Thing kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then 1980, he started doing Spider-Man animated series. There you go. So it looks like he writer or something. Mark Wheatley. Look at that hair, man. Look at that hair. Right? Doctor Strange, Marvel Fanfare, Johnny Quest, Blood of Incense, Prince Nightmare, Blood of Dracula, The Bats. So he did a lot of horror apparently.
Mhm.
Right? Build. Look at that. And he even has a hamburger shirt.
What the?
Yeah, I want that. That's a that way I can say that's how I got my heart attack.
Great reminder.
That's right, great reminder, right? He did the Punisher. Look at that. Right? The annual Marvel 1989 Punisher graphic novel, The Intruder. There you go. Hellraiser. He did some stuff.
Mhm.
So
So if
look at
anybody's
that. Look how
asking where to
curious.
leave, he's got it on his shirt. John
Yeah,
Bolton.
yeah. Look at that. He did Crawl, Bizarre Magazine, Eclipse Illustrated, Classic X-Men Marvel 1990, Orbit, Clive Barker's, Dark Horse. There's some Dark Horse. Man Bat collectibles. Yeah, did a lot of stuff. American Werewolf in London. Mark Kelly. So this seems very old. Yeah, there you go. You can tell from the picture, right? So
Yeah.
this is very, very old. 1951. Yeah, I'm not even a glint in my dad. I think my dad was born in 1950. All right. Joe Simon, there you go, guys. Joe Simon.
Oh,
I didn't
Giant
know
Simon.
that's what he looks like. Here we go. Joe Simon.
Yeah, Captain America, right? Yeah.
Yep. Right. Newsboy, Sandman. He did all this stuff.
Mhm.
Joe Simon. Man, he kind of looks like what's his name, the film critic guy.
Oh yeah, Ebert and
Yeah, Ebert or something.
yeah, one of them.
There you go, Flaming Carrot. That's how I remember him. He's the Flaming Carrot, right? The
Flaming
carrot
Carrot.
guy for a head and the web feet. I think I have a couple of the books somewhere. And look at that. Got a Bob Kane.
There you go, Bob
Bob
Kane.
Kane. Mm.
Bob Kane.
That's a good catch.
That's a good
Yeah.
catch,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. Yeah, this is a great novelty,
That-
man.
Yeah,
Carl
that's a great
Potts.
that's a
Iron
great collection.
Carl Potts, right?
Didn't do Iron Man?
Mostly I think Punisher and stuff.
Punisher. Oh, Punisher.
Moon Knight. There you go. Power Man. Yeah, Iron Fist. There you go. Iron
Yeah,
Fist.
close enough. Iron Fist, Iron Man.
Yeah, Punisher War Journal. I remember the art for the War Journal. Right?
Yes, you're right. I think he did. Jim Lee did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Lee and Wheels Protasha did that.
Yeah, afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy Truman. Got the guitar. Whole bit. I don't remember. Sergeant Rock. There we go. That's the only thing. Spider-Man 1991 and 92. The Prowler. Yeah. And finally, Al Gordon. And look at the tweed jacket and I think no bow tie. I thought that was a bow tie. There you go.
Yeah.
And here we go. And he is Amazing Spider-Man 1989. Justice League. The Invasion. Tales of Teen Titans. Legion of Superhero. Right? DNA Agents. He did Captain America. So he wrote a lot of the books, I guess. A lot of the stories for these. Okay, so last pack.
Last pack.
Last one.
And so far, you only got like two
I
doubles.
think it's two. Let me check afterwards. But
Yeah, only two doubles, yeah.
that's not too bad.
No, it's not at all. And you know, having Bob Kane and Jack Kirby there, that's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a good catch.
I think I got this one. Tommy
Um,
Kyle. He looks familiar.
Yeah, he looks familiar too.
Yeah. Thomas Stanford Kyle Lyle. There you go. All right. He looks familiar. Julius Schwartz.
Yeah, editor, right? Yep.
Yeah. You're right. I don't
DC
remember
editor.
the editors. Flash. He did the Flash. The All Stars. Strange Adventures. Yeah. Green Lantern there. Green Arrow.
Oh, that's fine.
Superman first comic awards. Blah blah blah. 1946, 1949. Hey Bleeker, we're just opening up my pack of artist cards that I got. Just showing off. So Brian Talbot. So old school Swamp Thing. There you go. Sandman. He did the Sandman. That's why the art looks so familiar.
Yeah.
You know, 1975, 1990. He did a lot of Dark Horses and stuff like that. Right? Look at that. Roy Thomas.
There you go, Captain Carrot.
That's right.
Mhm.
You know, he kind of looks like, what's his name? Tom Petty. Doesn't he? Sorry.
That is so true.
Oh, Red Sonja, too. I forgot about Red Sonja. Look at that. Right? X-Men Adventure. So, right? Brian Talbot, I didn't have. All right. Julia. Okay, so the only doubles I got right there. Paul Marvis.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Marvis.
That's questionable.
This is very 90s and 80s, right? This is off the, like, a lot of this is indies. You can tell right off the bat, right? Some indie press and stuff like that. So, right? Sam Key.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
Sam Key. Yeah.
Matt.
Right?
Max.
Max, that's right. There you
Yeah, the
go.
Max.
Manhunter. Man, I loved his stuff though. He's got
Oh
that
yeah,
scrappy look, right?
he's Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
You know
Right?
the what do you call this phone cord.
Yeah.
He's so popular with that, doing the phone cord in the.
Man, Sam Keith,
Hmm.
Wayne Bowen. Oh man, this has got to be like 1940s, 1950s.
Oh,
Anybody
look
who
at
wears
that.
a tie and draw, right? This is like Jack Kirby's era. They would wear suits and stuff, right? Yeah, 1950s, 1938, 1939s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get they wear suits while they're drawing.
Yep, there you go. White
Oh,
white shirt, tie,
They
and the
want,
whole
they want
bit,
to keep it
man.
professional, looking
yeah,
professional.
yeah.
I'd kill myself if actually you make me do that kind of stuff, right? Greg Russell, right there, right? Artist.
P.
He did a
Craig.
lot of the
Epic.
yep.
Did he
It
do
has
Epic?
that feel, right? Amazing Adventures,
Yeah,
Doctor
Epic
Strange
Illustrated.
Annual. Yeah. Epic magazine. You can tell by these artists, like you can see their art that they were like the Vertical. Remember Vertical books?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah.
those. Eclipse
Hmm.
books. I love those indie books. Bob McLeod. Man, I did not know these. Like a lot of the time, you hear their name, but you don't know what they look like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
Hmm.
There you go,
Hmm.
Bob McLeod. Action Comics, right? 1990 there. Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man. See, that's the stuff I grew up with. I remember those, right? Conan the
Right. Yeah.
Barbarian. There you go.
Hmm.
Black Panther, right? Man, damn. I remember seeing his name on some of the books. Oh, Martin Nodell.
Martin. No, I don't. I'm not.
Yeah, this is
Nope, nope.
he's a letterer. These are really old. So you can tell right off the bat. 12 years. He did some Captain America, see? Human Torch. Um yeah, Sand of Doom, Doctor Doom, Fox, DC Delivery, stuff like that. So these were great. And our current
Oh, Neil
Neil.
Gaiman.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I still love his stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Even though I think he's getting canceled nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody who has any of his signed stuff, I'm willing to take that off your hand for free. Right? If you're planning to throw it out or burn it, please don't. And my guy, Eric Larson.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Look
nice.
at that. That is the
Oh,
last
wow.
of my kiss. Eric Larson,
Wow.
I met when I was 16 or so.
Uh,
Barry, he came to Barry to a place called Beaver Comic. And I remember seeing him when he was launching. I think he was the only one there. Nobody else knew who Eric Larson was.
what was he launching back then? Was he launching?
I think he was just still at Marvel at the time before they
So,
became Image.
so Spider-Man.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think he did Spider-Man. Yeah. And Spawn and all the other stuff. Right?
Right.
So
So that's it.
that is okay. So I think these are my doubles. Let me quickly go through them. So I got Eric Larson, Neil, Martin, Bob McLeod, Gary Russell, Wayne Bowen, Sam Keith, Paul, Julius Short, older ones, Brian Tabbitt. There we go. Roy Thomas kind of looks like what's his name?
Yeah.
Heartbreaker.
Tom Petty. Tom Petty.
Yeah, for Tom Petty.
Free falling.
It's always Tom Petty, man. He looks like Tom Petty. He's still my favorite artist for Tom Petty. Jim Truman, Carl. We got Bob Kane. There you
That's
go.
a keeper
Can't
right
go
there,
wrong
man.
with
That's
that.
a keeper.
Bob Kane. Bob. Joe Simon. Can't go wrong with Joe Simon. There you go. Walt Kelly. John Bolton. Bill Renford. Mark Wheely. Gary Morrill. Mark Evanier. Will. Look at that. Look at that, man.
That's a keeper there too.
Oh yeah.
And look
Oh
at
yeah.
that.
Phil Eastman.
I got Jack himself.
Jack the man.
Yep. Joe Station. Timothy Bradstreet. He's peeking through a curtain. Looks like I came to the wrong house. All right. I'm
Creeper.
leaving. All right. Sam. Steve. Another Steve. Look at the hair, man. Look at that hair.
Yeah.
Look at that hair.
Right,
That is Jesus right there. Right? Right? Marv Wolfman. Larry is the one that just for some reason his name is stuck in my head. I don't know what it is. I think I've seen him somewhere. Right? Keith. There you go. There's the double. Klaus.
Jansen, yeah.
Charles. William and the half body. Right? It's so wrong here.
Very wrong, man.
This is pre-Photoshop, guys. Just let you know. All right.
They overdid it with the
Yeah.
green screen. They overdid it with the green screen, man.
With the green.
Yeah. Right.
Here we go. Serial. Yeah, I love him. Right.
Oh.
Michael. Jim Starling. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. Gary. Clive. There we go. Bo.
I feel like these pictures would be the pictures they would use in those Wizard magazine top.
I think they
Red
were.
Riders?
This is 1992. These are like Wizard. Look at the backgrounds, man. Look at the
Right?
backgrounds. Pre-Photoshop. I don't know how they did it. I'm telling you, this is before Photoshop, right? They must have used MS Paint or something. Larry Hama. Right. Mark Hemp. There's Tom. There's Tom. We knew Tom was there. Wayne. Matt. Kurt. Howard Cruz. There we go. Cruz. Right. Then we got Jim himself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sal too. Right. He's the brother.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Sal.
So.
That's a keeper right there too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill,
Yeah.
Right. This
That's
is my
nice.
keeper. This is my keeper.
That
Yes.
goes first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one.
Look at all that hair, man. Man, look at
I
that hair
remember-
compared to the picture I had of him.
I think the first time I not personally like talked to him or anything. I think it's what I went to Chicago Comic Con. I think that was with Vince at that time.
Right.
But this was when the floor wasn't open for everybody yet, so I was just walking around, and I just happened to walk by him, and I'm going and that's when I think that was the first time I was ever starstruck.
Awestruck? Yeah.
Starstruck,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, with because I'm going holy snap, George Perez just walked by me, and I'm going oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Rick and David. So looks like I think John. Did I have John already? John Lucille? Why is that?
Yeah. You have one. John. I think you have John.
I got
Cena.
Sal. Do I have
Oh,
John?
you have Sal. Okay.
That's
Yeah, I think you have John.
Nope. So
No?
those are the
Just
keepers,
Sal.
right? I mean, even then, this is a keeper. Eric Larson's a keeper. So those are my guys. Like those are the guys I kind of grew up around. These other guys are really they're the classic. They've been there, right? Then so I really got two doubles. That's really what that is.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought
just
you had
two
three.
doubles. Not bad.
Yeah, I thought I had three. But that's not too bad. So this came out of anybody's going. So this is Comic Book Creator 1992 pack. I found it at kind of like a card collector shop where they sell Elvis Presley's bust and all this. Hey Jagular. So that's what they sold, and these packs were like in a pile of other packs because I went in and I bought like they had like the mystery Pokemon pack for $5,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I went in and I bought a few for my nephews and my niece because they're Pokemon collectors. They don't know
Yeah.
the difference, right? Most of these are
Mm-hmm.
like I think people broke them open in a case and they just kind of threw them together and they just $5 for a pack this thick, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think it was like maybe this thick for $5. I don't know how many cards, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a few of those for the nephew, and I was walking out because they had everything from like bubblegum machines to
Mm-hmm.
and I saw these in the case. So I saw these packs. So I said, "Oh my god!" Right?
Why not?
Like, yeah, they're $5. I mean, they're excessive because I think 92. These things were like 50 cents or 75 cents, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting bubble gum. At least I'll eat that. Like it'll be like rubber and like
Really?
hard as hell, right? Right? It smells very. It smells old. It smells musty. Like the
Ah,
paper's been in there
beauty.
for a long time.
I
I'm
love back then. I love going into like comic book store back then and smelling the old paper.
Yeah,
Remember going into Dragon Lady, or was it Dragon Lady comic book store in Toronto?
yeah, Dragon Lady.
Yeah, when I walk into that store, I can just smell old paper. Like, oh,
So
sweet
yeah,
smell.
I can't believe like I might have to go back and see maybe they have more, and I'll pick up some
Yeah.
more. I got to do research on this. Oh, they have numbers on the back, so
Mm-hmm.
they do have numbers. 21, 10, 109, right? See if I can get. So there's got to be. Oh, there's the number 4. See if I can grab the first 10 of the pack. But yeah, it was an interesting thing where I just went in and I saw it and I said, okay, well, as long as I don't tell my wife that I bought these,
Not watching. Just make sure she's not watching.
my wife's watching. She's gonna be coming around, and my internet cuts out, and you guys know what happened.
All we hear is that like emergency broadcast signals.
Yeah. Right.
Send help. Right? Send, right? If the wife's watching, and send help. Right? You know what happened, right? Somebody, Arnold, come over. My password to my laptop, so you can delete my history, my browser history.
Your history browser.
That's right. Make sure you destroy the laptop. No evidence, please. Go through it. I'm dead.
Or I got the magnet here to kind of like.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, I know. Hey, thanks for sharing, Locke.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I was waiting for you guys, and I was like, okay, well, let's see what I found at the store, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, there's 11. So, 1. Look at that. Okay, so 1, card number 1 is definitely Will, right?
Oh, Will Acer, right? Okay.
Will's number 1.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be Jack Kirby.
Let's see. Number 8 is Jim. Wow. Let's see. John's 11. Bob Kane's 37. Wow. Clive, Serio. Jack is 100.
Oh.
Kirby is number 100. The card. So these are cool. I'm gonna have to put these in bags and I don't know, do something with these.
Yeah, that's a cool collection.
Put them in a frame.
Well, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is if I can find comics of these guys, even
Right.
cheap ones. Hey, Mark. There, Mark's in the chat there.
Mark.
Mark, Scrabble artist. He says hi to Arnold and Ollie there. Hey guys.
Hey.
Does
Right.
Mark want to join us?
Send him the link.
Oh, Mark Belton?
Belton.
Mm-hmm.
If you got his stuff, just send him the link there where it says invite.
Oh yeah.
Copy that and just send him the link
Let me see if I can find it.
in the message.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Anybody that wants to join us, they can just come in and chill.
If you wanna throw it in the chat, then you can.
Okay, I'm not gonna share the picture that I shared with you guys just in case. Sorry, that was my oops.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you didn't want.
That was about loading the dock, loading something about loading, and it was pretty heavy loaded up front there. It was yeah. It was an interesting so yeah, the convention stuff is, so I talked with James. I emailed with James, and we went back and forth, and so yeah, so we'll be together as a group at Niagara Falls.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm thinking maybe reaching out and go, hey, James, you interested in some sort of con exclusive? Could do that. I don't know what it is, but you know.
Right.
Do some covers, do some sorry. Hey, K-pop. So yeah. So anybody joining in the chat, we're just hanging out. We're talking about the comic book conventions and stuff. The thing was, I went to a like a kind of like a collector's store. They sold a lot of old collector items, from cards to whatever. It's kind of like a pawn shop, and I found these 1992 pack. I've got 5 of them, and they're all comic book creators. Card deck. So I got Will, I got some of the older Bob Kane, Jim Shooter, John. There we go. Right, Rick, Jim Starling there. Even got Tom Petty in here somewhere. I got Neil. Look, there you go.
I think you got John Lennon in there
too, somewhere. Right? Sergio, right? Bob Kane, even like this is a find. There you go, right? The man himself that started it all. This is it, right? This is what I think. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I got Sal, even Eric Larson. I know there's a shirtless Todd McFarlane hitting a baseball. I saw it somewhere on a pack or something. So I'm gonna see if I can find that. And if we ever do a convention with them, I'm gonna bring these with me. If I run into Eric Larson, I want him to sign this.
Yeah.
It's too bad about, oh man.
George?
Yeah.
Right?
That was a really nice that was I got lucky. We got lucky that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meeting
that was very nice. That was very nice of Niagara Falls Comic Con to have him on its last Canada.
Yeah.
That
was his last Canada, I guess, appearance. Appearance.
Yeah, that was his last. I think even like um even in US, I think because after that maybe just a couple of months he announced that he has that.
I think he announced it beforehand. I remember talking to his wife there, back the stage stuff, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
And she's going, yeah, his health is right, so he can only sit there for a few hours. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I understood that, right? That's why I hit him up at the in the hallway to sign those Wonder Woman books,
Yeah.
right? Then sitting across from Mike, Mike is sitting there bored, right? Mike Zach, and I said, "Oh wait, I got some books." That's what you do, right? Just getting meeting your heroes and the whole bit. So
You
this
know what?
year,
He was a trooper. You know, you got
he
to admit,
was
he was a
he's a
trooper.
really nice man for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm
Very
glad. I'm
nice.
glad we kind of, you know,
Yeah.
we did our part, and that was good. Okay, so 41, 107. There we go. 100.
Maybe Jack Kirby's the last one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if anybody like updated these pack. That's the thing, right?
Hmm.
Like I like combo creator pack is kind of that's cool, but
Yeah. Hey, sorry, just going back to our question, like way earlier on. You've already answered, I think, Locke, and I've answered mine as far as favorite artists. What about you, Ollie?
yeah. What about you? What's your favorite?
Who's your favorite?
Favorite artists?
Yeah.
Oh, uh, I started loving comics when I first saw this X-Men books. I just borrowed it from my neighbor back when I was still in Philippines.
Yeah.
Um, it was the it was he did like he book bind it. So it was a Extinction Agenda.
Oh yeah, that was a good.
Yeah,
Chris Claremont did that series. No, he wrote a
yeah.
lot of that. Yeah.
But Ghibli's work really get me into doing, loving X-Men.
Right.
I
Right.
know, yeah. So Ghibli, Wills, and yeah, I have a lot of like really favorite artists, but Ghibli is the first one that caught my really interest
Yeah.
doing comic book.
Well, his stuff was so dynamic back then, right? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah, that time.
you couldn't help but not like, oh my gosh, like this guy's my, my
Yeah.
idol. Because
Yeah.
He was Asian too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. When I found out, so after that, I know I started like during college days, I started buying comic book X-Men, and I found out that Will Spertasio. There's this one scene in Uncanny X-Men where
right.
he draws Colossus,
Oh
showing
yes, yes.
the back, and it says there the flag of the Philippines, and it says
Oh, that one,
Makuli.
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, yeah, Makuli. So, that's where I found out that he's a Filipino. So, you know,
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
It
and,
was.
and during and around that time, Bill Spectacular's work is still like really cool, like with his shadowing and
Yeah, yeah. The way, even for me, I feel like that back then, the way he rendered,
yeah, yeah,
Archangel.
it's different. Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. So
my actually my if I had to cut in there, but one of my current favorite artists right now, and it's funny. It's like he kind of snuck up on me because I'm going like, wow, who's this guy? I don't know if you guys heard of him, Dan Mora.
Dan
Oh,
Mora,
he's
yeah. Dan
oh yeah,
Mora.
he's really good. Yeah,
Like
yeah, Dan Mora.
I love the simplicity, yet still like has that like I don't know that energy.
The dynamic, right?
Yeah,
It's so dynamic. Yeah,
and
yeah,
his storytelling is great. Like I love it.
yeah. Even before, like, he has like a book. Um,
I think he's launching an art.
uh,
No.
he no
He's
he
what?
has he did a book from Boom Studios. It's a medieval
What
kind of
Power Ranger?
no, not Power Ranger, but it has like it's like a medieval but modern version where he has like the character has a sword. Can't remember the title, but yeah, that's where I first got his work. I like the way he styles the way he storytelling.
Right. Like right now, I'm loving his Justice League run.
Mhm.
Justice League Unlimited. So no, that's good to hear. Like so, I guess yeah. In your case, you said I guess just to reiterate, Jim Lee's your favorite.
Yeah, but he started. But I have lots of favorite artists now. Like it just
Yeah.
keeps on adding. Actually, just keeps on adding. But Jim Lee's the first one that really caught my
Yeah,
my attention and love to on doing comic book.
yeah. Well, if I have to, yeah, again, for me, it's like whenever I really want to study anatomy, like don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
yeah, Jim is great. Jim is great, but sorry,
yeah,
and I have to keep mentioning my boy there, but like Ivan, like when you study his anatomy, it's like it's different. Like you can
hmm
actually learn from the guy's like channels on how to draw things, right?
yeah.
Um, I feel like he is like a cross between Neil Adams and George Perez for me.
Okay, yeah,
They
yeah.
ever like if they if there was ever like a Batman Superman composite,
Yeah.
that's a, that's Ivan. That's a George
hmm
Perez
hmm
and Neil Adam composite
hmm
right there.
Yeah.
Just like anything that we do, like if I want to get better at something, I always end up like, okay, well, I got to work on that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's really what it is is once you start working on it, that's what makes sense.
Right.
And then what happened as an artist is you start forming your shortcuts,
Right.
right? And that's why we draw like all the time, right? I slowly start forming my shortcuts. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I do. Um, this is where this pec muscle is, so it looks, you know what I mean? It looks correct. It,
Yeah.
it looks it looks like the way I want it to look.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Makes
That's
sense.
really
Yeah.
what it is. I find it one of those interesting exercises when I'm like, I don't mind copying artists,
Mm,
um,
hmm
their work, because
yeah.
it's really basically what we're doing. We're studying
Right.
how they came
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And some people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that." It's like, well, why not, right? Because that's
hmm
how I
hmm
learned to draw. Was I literally got the comic book from the spinner racks back in the day,
hmm
pulled out the pages, and literally traced over top of
hmm
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Those were the
Yeah.
days when we're just, you know, ripping out books that nowadays we were like,
What do you mean I ripped
uh,
a? What do you mean I ripped a like a Hulk 181 just so I can copy that
that's the Wolverine
Wolverine?
cover.
uh,
Oh my god. Oh,
I
remember the
wanted to
Star
draw
Wars?
the Wendigo. Let me
I
rip it off out of this comic book.
I had those Star Wars books. Remember the first issues and stuff? They were, I forget. There was used to be like a bargain Herald. Like it was like the equivalent of the dollar store back
Mm,
then,
mhm.
right? You go in and there'd be piles of it, like piles of it. You would go through, right? Yeah, it's it's pretty funny. Now it's like, okay, so what do we do, right? So yeah, yeah. So I booked I got for sure we all have tables at Niagara Falls Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what we're at right now. So we're sure, and we're gonna be grouped together again. So which is kind of nice.
Yep.
Michael will be there, right? I'm gonna try to see if I can get Michael to one day to actually jump in here. I know he's working
Well,
at night though, is he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working.
Okay. Maybe we'll find a date where you know, a week where he's off or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well, I hopped on because I know like tonight as well too. Obviously, like I'm trying to finish this off because I'm trying to get at least like 3 prints done for this weekend.
oh okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're rushing for the stuff.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like that's my goal, and this is what I love about like when I'm attending cons nowadays. It's like it's my I get I don't know. It's my motivation to
Yeah. Yeah.
pump out some works because I know that like this is the cool thing about that's the cool thing about um doing like cons every year consistently, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you get your fan base, or at least you get your fans. You actually get like repeat customers. If anything,
Right. Right.
I don't want to be too kind of like cocky to call my fans, but like you get your repeat customers that do love your work, and I guess they are your fans. But like I
Well,
love that they
we
came
can
up to
call
the table and
we
they
can
asked,
call the
hmm,
yeah we can call them followers because they
right,
followed us on our social media and
Well,
yeah,
they
you
are
know
fans. I mean, they are the fan of your work. I mean,
yeah
if
yeah
we had the option of Patreon, that'd be something. That's what this is, right?
yeah,
Uh, a Patreon of the arts is basically somebody would come along and buy your artwork, right?
yeah,
Because they believe in the stuff that we do.
yeah,
They believe in your art. They like the style. They like the look. I mean, that's really what it is. When it comes to art, right?
hmm,
Um, it's not always like how well you draw. It's something that you see, right?
yeah yep
yeah,
That's why I like going to the art museum. I love the old master stuff, but I gravitate toward the old paintings, right?
mm-hmm.
While others are into modernism and contemporaryism and all the other stuff.
right, yeah. Well, yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry. So just going back to like I'm pretty sure if you guys were consistent with your attendance, right? I'm pretty sure you'd have the same motivations, like because
Yeah.
somebody's gonna come to your table again and
Mm-hmm.
go, "Oh, what do you have new this year?" Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. What show are you going to? Is there a show that going like next week or?
Yep, it's this weekend actually.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yep, he's going to be up in Collingwood. So
Oh. Oh.
Collingwood is a kind of like a sleepy town north of here, next to Lake Huron, kind of stuff. Have you been up there? Well, Arnold.
I want to say yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't recall. I don't recall.
It's at the Legion Hall,
Right. I don't.
right?
You know what? I'm gonna say
So
no for now. Like I'm gonna say
okay,
no.
to load, go to the back.
Okay.
Right. If you arrive there, the front has these steps that goes up, and it's really hard to go through that step if you want to pull something through. So in the back, you park in the back, go back to the Legion. So once you arrive, you'll see the old tank
Uh,
and the old fighter plane, the one with the propellers. drive to the back and park in the back, right?
Okay.
And in the back, there's a double door, and that's where you can pull right in,
Hmm.
right? Park there. That's the best spot to park in the
Oh,
back.
thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that it's a flat ground and everything, and you just pull your stuff through. You'll see the guys loading in the back, anyways, double doors
Yeah.
and all that stuff. That is the best entrance to come through. Because if you come through, you got to go a bunch of steps up, right? They have a wheelchair ramp, but it's on the other side of the building that kind of goes up one side and loop back to the main door. But you still got to lift the wheelchair up into the. There's the little steps and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's the Legion Hall. It's pretty good because you get a lot in the summertime. I like more. So you're going back spring.
Look,
So
are you also going to do that show
no,
next week?
no.
No. Okay.
Saturday is it's too
Collingwood.
tight. I'm gonna be in Barrie anyways. I'm gonna be up in the
Mm.
Barrie area.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see my mom and dad. We
Okay.
have to visit. I cannot go and not visit
Yeah.
because it's my inheritance on the line. No, no. My mom wants to see her granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The kid.
That's
Yeah.
more important than
Yeah.
they don't care, right? So that's really what that is. So when you get there, yeah. Then Saturday, no Sunday, then I'll come up for the Angus. Angus is just off of Barrie. It's like 30 minutes, not even.
Right.
That one is. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I've been there. It's at the community center. I'm trying to remember. I think it's a community center, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it will be slower. Sunday will be slower. Collingwood, I think you're going to do well. Collingwood's a Saturday. And if
Right.
the weather's bad, people will show up because it's going to be cold up there, right?
Right.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping the weather's gonna be nice when this weekend. But I'm seeing like some snow happening wherever.
Yeah. Earlier here, it snows
But I
just a
think
little
you'll be
bit.
okay. I think you'll do okay. If you haven't been there, then that means you're going to be the new artist of the group, and I think you're going to do well. You're going to do fine. I think Lou is going to be there too.
Yeah. For Collingwood,
Collingwood, yes, I believe he's going to be there.
Mike is gonna be there.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just
Nice.
found out. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Like, yeah, again, I don't mind doing these like um outside of Toronto show.
Yeah. K-pop said that she bought Frida Kahlo statue from the Toronto Art Museum. Yeah, that's the. I'm assuming that is the AGO. That is the Art Gallery of Ontario. My daughter's going to the art school there. That is actually the AGO is my favorite art museum. I have been to Ottawa. That's the Natural History Museum, that big one that we always, you know what I mean? Is it Ottawa? Yeah. That was kind of fun, but my favorite museum is always going to be the AGO. That's my love of the area because of Kensington Market and all the other stuff that's there. I'm drawing Mickey Mouse Spider-Man.
Is that part of the set, or is that your own?
This is a
Commission?
no, this is a what do you call it? This is Mickey Mouse public domain series by
Yeah.
Card.
The one. Yeah. You mentioned that before. A
Yep.
couple of weeks ago, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
So I'm doing the I didn't design the back of these ones. I didn't design the back of these ones.
Mhm.
But I designed the other ones, and I designed the box art that these comes in. So for the guys, so that's what I'm dealing with right now, and they're kind of like in a panic.
Why?
It the product's supposed to be released soon, but the what do you call it? The issue is the cards are just being printed now due to um, supply issues of refractors and other
Mm.
stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because we don't have card company that prints these things here in Canada, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But these guys are down in California, so they're I'm telling them that they need to do this, and when I create them the print files, I have to create the mask and all the elements that goes with it,
Mhm.
trims and bleeds and
Yeah. Yeah.
all the items that I have to make sure that they follow, and especially when I have to deal with the printer, because they're black, CMYK black.
Mm.
Mixing could be different from each company because the printers themselves, right? When they mix the ink, it's different. That's really what that is. So I have to be aware of that issue. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. So, but they're in a panic because they need. I think some of the artists are the
Oh.
cards are being shipped damaged,
Oh. Okay.
right? So it arrived, and some of the artists are drawing on them, and they come back, and they're finding out that it's damaged. So,
Oh.
yeah, it's all about like proper shipping and stuff like that. Like if we
Mhm.
get like you know how Tops and Upper Deck they ship us in the box like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
at least we know that. But I'm getting stuff shipped to me that they should have done that, but it comes like this in
Oh. Okay.
a Pokemon box, and
Yeah.
it's floating around like this,
Oh. Right.
Ouch.
and it gets bounced around.
Yeah.
The first set that I got came in another Pokemon box. And it came like this.
Hmm.
And it's all bounced around, and all the corners are damaged.
Oh. Wow. Oh.
It's,
Wow.
it's it's just a tin, right? It's just
Yeah.
tin,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's why it's damaged.
So I asked them to send me another set. So but they ended up with. So I ended up like, here's the design for the other set. So that's my
Mhm.
design right there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's a little prettier, right? And all I did was just opened up Clip Studio and just drew it and colored it like watercolor, like the
No
book,
way.
Yeah.
right?
You did the watercolor effect in Clip Studio?
Yeah. It's easy. It's just basically all it is a soft brush,
Okay.
right?
Oh.
It's just a
Right.
soft brush. It's just a soft brush. That's all you're doing, right? And do a lot of opacity, so it looks like it's layering,
Right.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I'm not doing watercolor, like Rebel. Was it Rebel?
Rebel?
Rebel. Thank you. Rebel paint or whatever, where you have gravities and all that stuff. That's too much, man. That's too much control for you know for natural
Yes.
media paint.
Mhm.
So you end up with that those kind of little things here and there,
But
right? And then the guys are panicking a little bit because then I said, okay, well I'll jump on these. I'm falling behind on the SpongeBob.
mhm.
I should be done 30 by now, but um, I think I'll do that tomorrow.
That's for tops, right?
Yeah. I just got I got the panos. Did you get the did you get the top stuff or no? You haven't.
No, I don't do any tops.
Oh, okay. So I got the hyperspace stuff from Tops.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me 5 planets. I got oh yeah, let me blow here, let me make this is Arnold's stuff. He's doing the Hulk. It's all digital. So he's getting is that Clip Studio for you?
Yeah.
Arnold? Yeah.
Studio.
Yeah. Arnold's doing this digitally on Clip Studio, right? And it looks really great. Looks
Thank
great,
you.
right? That's
Yeah.
Arnold's inking
Yeah.
style,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He likes the scratchy um yeah.
Yeah.
I like the shirt. I like the shirt.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my own like stylist.
Style. Yeah.
I don't
Just
know how do you call
you're
it.
finding your groove, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much. Right.
Yeah. It's kind of
So
neat.
I get
Yeah.
inspired when other artists do that. I mean, it's not realistic, but it
It
gives.
doesn't have to be realistic. It looks great. I mean, it looks like a
Thank
comic
you.
book. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
would do too.
Right.
It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with realistic. It's you draw the way you draw, and people found their yeah.
Yeah, you have style. Yeah, you develop a style.
Yeah. By the way, if anybody wants to know, Arnold is AI. But he's got all his fingers there. Damn it.
Huh?
Yeah. There, all his fingers are there, right? Right. Then we got Ollie. He's working on a gargoyle. There you go.
Yeah.
You're on full
Nice.
screen. Just letting you know, Ollie. There you go. Ooh. Yeah. See.
Is that a commission, Ollie, or is that just something that?
No, just for fun right now. I might
Just
use
for fun.
this. Yeah.
So Ollie, when I didn't watch you when you first started, but when you first started, what do you call it? Do you do the pose first, and then or do you already figure out the muscle tones and the anatomy and all the other stuff? Like
No, I just usually I do the layout and the pose and how how dynamic it will look. So
right,
and then I am slowly adding some details like muscle form and all that.
right. Do you
Details
think
like
about light and shadow just to give you your muscle form when you're doing shadings like that, or do you just kind of
you
jump
sh
right into it?
no, usually I added shadows after finishing the full layout or full figure.
Right,
Like, I'm just gonna add dark here,
right,
um, things like that. It's easier for me to uh, play with the shadows after I finish the full
right.
layout, the full figure.
Do you use as an artist? Do you go through and um, like you already have an image in your head, or do you just do what I do? Just start drawing, and something will come in.
No, usually I have this pose in my head.
Right,
Like,
Mm,
yeah, I'm imagining, certain pose, and it will depend on when I started doing the layout, how will I fit that, the idea in a surface or like here, in this
right.
case, in the comic, in the blank. So something like that. But
Right.
usually I have an idea first.
Yeah. See ya. What about you, Arnold? Do you kind of like do you ever like do you plan everything out, or you just sit down sometimes go, I need to draw a Hulk, and that's you
I,
kind of
for me, when I'm doing print, I want to. I try to do my best not to do the standard poses as best as I can, but like so yeah. So when I attack the page, um, I really like try to strategize and see if I can do something that hadn't been done before, but unfortunately things have been done, already.
Hmm.
And I always say it's just a matter. So from there, if I can't find a unique pose,
Post.
and I do my best to kind of like render it in a way that I feel like I can make it my own,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Mm.
So yeah, I can probably draw the same. I can do an homage of like I don't know a Todd McFarlane cover or a Hulk 181. But if I can't find a way to kind of like repurpose that, I guess I do my best to kind of like render it in a way that to just to make it my own type thing, right? So
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
But,
um
but do you think because I know a lot of your stuff goes in the frame, for
mm,
the audience member, if you guys don't know, Arnold always has his stuff inside frame. So when you actually purchase his stuff at shows, it's always in a frame. Do you plan around that,
yes.
or do you just kind of like start off with a square canvas and kind of draw, then okay, well my frame's going to be 16 by 9 or something like that, then
Yeah.
you adjust your canvas accordingly, kind of thing.
No, yeah, no, that's a great question because like no, you hit the nail on the head there because like so my two frames that I normally like carry at the show is 8 by 10 or 16 by 8. So I lay out my figure based on the size of the frame, right? So for example, the 16 by 8, actually, my famous or at least my popular pose for that is the arms stretched out, just like that
Yep.
Michael Jordan poster, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
It's very iconic of you. That's what I see it as. That is your thing, and
right.
that's how I can spot any of your stuff, like what I showed you and whatnot there. So that was kind
Yeah.
of like, it was like, oh, wait a second. It's something that I was just scrolling through my phone, and I
Mm.
saw that, and it stopped me in the track. You know what I mean? You're just like
Yeah.
scroll, and it's like, wait, is Arnold on whatnot? And he didn't tell me. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool, right? So
But then the 8 by 10, I pretty much same thing. Like if I can fit something within that like small frame type thing or a small yeah but again like again you hit the head on the nail there um or you hit the whatever that's pretty much exactly what I do. I lay it out accordingly to whatever frame I'm gonna be using, right?
right,
um but uh I try one thing with 8 by 10. If you've noticed any, like I mostly do a lot of buzz shot, like for example this one right here, the Hulk, because
yep,
I know for 8 by 10 I feel like doing a full body it'd be too small, like it make the figure too small,
yeah,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas I can get creative with 8 by 16 and actually do a full body on that one if I really wanted to, right? But that's me. Like I guess like I think everybody else does. Like they'll draw what they want to draw, right?
Mhm.
But what about you, Locke? Your turn to how do you?
I'm mostly AI. I generate everything using a computer. What you're
Okay.
seeing is all, so I don't really exist. I'm Chat GP Lock or something like that. Um, like a lot of the time is like I wasn't like a lot of it is, if I'm gonna do a print, it's always 11 by 17. But a lot of my prints are either something that my daughter wants or somebody's asking for it.
Mhm.
It wasn't something like, oh, I'm gonna decide to sit down and draw Pokemon,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Um, the only time that I go a little creative is if I see another artist's painting or style that I like. I tend to like, how did, like, like how does Arnold does that, or how does Ollie does that, and I sit down, and a lot of it is like I stare at it and I go, okay, why did he pick that lighting? Why does that work?
Mhm.
I'm more of like exploratory kind of thing. When it comes to just drawing, relaxing, it's always sketching in a sketchbook. But really, when I sit down and just experiment, is when I pull out the paint and the media and stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
And this right now, my outlet is always going to be like these sketch cards because I found them to be
Right. Yeah.
a little freeing. I don't
Mhm.
have a lot of media to commit to, and I
Yeah.
can quickly do certain things. Like I went through a whole phase of doing underpainting first, just to
Mhm.
find the tone I like. First, I was using like I bought like this is how idiotic sometimes I am, right? So I go through and I have like a 2 liter
Wow.
of burnt umber.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is just brown, right?
That's crazy.
I just
Yeah.
went crazy, and I was like, afterward, I'm like, I really don't need this much, right? This is one of those things. Afterwards, I'm like, wait, uh, because I bought a tube and I ran out, right? And I said, from now on, I'm gonna paint everything with burnt umber as my underpainting. I'm gonna buy a 2 liter. It's gonna save me because the 2 liter bottle is only like $30, right? Compared to a tube, which is almost $30, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I ended up buying that, and I'm sitting there staring at it like, what am I? I'm burnt umbering everything from now on. All my sketch card will be burnt umber. All my painting will be burnt umber. All my digital stuff, I'm gonna smear burnt umber all over it, right? So yeah, sometimes I go a little off
Overboard.
kilter because it's always for me. It's always been exploratory. Um, I like doing traditional stuff. Sometimes I don't have the patience for it, like waiting for paint to dry, waiting for the other stuff, right? Oh, by the way, I finished the. Did you guys see the cover that I did for
Oh
Bleaker?
yeah, 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 yeah. Show it. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So the lighting doesn't do justice, but if I take the sheen off of it, there it's a little bit better, right?
Uh,
Um, I don't know how to explain it, but on my screen right now, I see more of blue, but to the naked eye, I see more of
Purple.
the purple,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
The camera is I don't know what it is, but it's a really soft tone, right?
Mm.
So it has more of like you know the red is there. There is a varnish on it now. There's a
Mm.
varnish to the surface,
Yeah.
and it has this really nice even. That's what I was trying to achieve was this nice even purple with the blue, the purple. It was a lot of layering that I had to go through,
Okay.
and even just like see the crack
Yeah.
details and stuff. That is just basically a black color pencil,
Oh, okay.
right? And I just did this tone, and I just went over it with the blue and the purple, and you can like it looks like right,
That's a good effect.
and even this, you see the water, it looks like dripping from the pipes,
Right.
the
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit here and there, and again, it's the same thing when we're using a color brush, right? So I took like a calligraphy kind of like these brush with a long tip, right? And all I need was like I soaked this with water, like as if you're working in. You remember the Chinese when they do the bamboo shoots?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Is they only put a little bit of ink at the tip, and the rest is water, right? and that what causes that even tone and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did the same kind of principle for a lot of the. So it's kind of like almost like a wash, but it also leaves you like hint as if there's a poster here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's and I did this even here. If you look carefully, it's just red paint, but it's just like I went over it with a wash, and you see the little. It's the texture when you get to it. I mean, the cameras are 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 not doing it
Yeah,
justice.
just yeah.
Even when I scanned it in, I'm like, oh man, I just lost a lot of the. But I scanned it in and I put a little bit more of a whitewash towards the certain areas and stuff like that. But I
Right.
mean, I darkened it a little bit. But that's what for the cover itself, right? So that's the cover. But when you actually hold it in hands, that's what I'm going to do. Is Bleecker? I'm going to see him at at Niagara Falls. I'll hand this over for him so he can actually put it as a tier for
Nice.
a cover tier for the book, right? And that will help with the. I figured something like this would help because it's going to be their first comic,
Mm-hmm.
and if they have an original art that they can put up, I'm hoping somebody would like buy this artwork, and it'll be a cover, and that 500 or 600, whatever the tier he set it for, that will help them push either if they're going to get $1,000 or $2,000, at least that will give them a percentage to. It's a head,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. This was originally planned as a digital. That was the whole thing.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. I did what you did. I literally I sat down and I laid it out digitally. I did my gray tones. I just put in a little red here. I said it's kind of cool, and I kind of worked out the perspective and the angle, right?
Right.
Like doing a horror comics, it's kind of like Alfred Hitchcock. This is what I've learned: is those weird angles. The lower to the ground, the instead
Yeah.
of straight on
Yeah.
like this,
Mm-hmm.
you're at an angle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It throws you off,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you got, I'm doing this tunnel kind of thing. I was just thinking, how do you make something that, like, how do you make something scary? How do you make something that want to represent the book and you want to curious about the book?
Right.
You know, what is this red room? What is this room? Where is this? Right? So I kind of hinted there's pipes, there's electrical panels, there's a hallway here, there's something and blood dripping out or whatever this stuff is, right? It looks like somebody dragged a body all the way through there or something, right? And what is this guy with a gas mask and a blade that is white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. And that's really what it was. It was just something. I kind of like the idea of painting it, and it took a while because it got to a point where the drawing was really muddy, right? You know what I mean? It was really
Yeah.
muddy, and this is the stage where I either give up or have to walk away for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that.
Right. Because that's really what it comes down to. It's like when you're doing your drawing, there's a stage where like, do I color it? Should I try coloring it? Should I walk away and see as a fresh eye and all that other stuff? Right.
Well, yeah. I kind of sorry, I don't mean to think, but like I kind of do the same thing with a lot of my prints, where at the con people ask me how long does it take you to draw, the the print, right? And one of the things I definitely like let them know is that yeah, I do walk away, like you said,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I'll walk away and then obviously when you come back then that's when you kind of notice like like why is that there, or maybe I should change that, or even
Yeah.
honestly I catch myself once I post my once I post whatever image I thought it was finished on my social media.
Mm.
I start catching like, ugh, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever happened to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens to us. Yeah. It happens to me. Yeah.
Me too. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, people think like I'm the best artist ever or whatever.
Hmm.
But I always like a lot of our stuff as an artist, we always find flaws in
Oh yeah. Oh
doing.
yeah.
But sometimes we do need to get like just call it done,
Yeah.
right? I could be working on this painting all the way through, and I'm just throwing. It got to a point where I'm painting, and the paint is lifting the paint that I had underneath up.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
That's when I know to stop. Right?
Yeah.
You know when you paint
Yeah.
over an area and all of a sudden that area becomes that like it's like damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it
Yeah.
cure enough. I didn't let it dry.
Uh,
Right?
Right.
That's the thing with traditional painting, right? Unless you're doing watercolor, but the watercolor is like the next thing I'm gonna do is did you see Mike Ruth's when he did the from Toronto Comic Con he started painting with gouache again. His
Hmm.
uh, man thing or
oh
swamp
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that bright
Yep.
color, right?
Yep. Right.
I'm like, damn it, because I painted the Miles Morales the Into the Spider Verse and what's her name there, Gwen, not Gwen,
JC.
Spider
Oh,
Silk
Spider
or
Gwen.
whatever her name is, Spider Gwen or whatever,
Yeah.
right? That was my first try at gouache at Niagara Falls Comic Con. The Gwen
Hmm.
was gone, the Hellboy was gone, all the other stuff was sold right away.
Right.
Because it was really bright. But the thing working with gouache is you kind of end up with you end up lifting paint after you use it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like working in it's kind of like working in oil and watercolor at the same time, right? It's very opaque. The thinner like, if you pick it up, it's very thick, right?
Right.
Hmm.
And you can paint it
Hmm.
as thick, but if you water it down, it works like watercolor,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's a great medium. I mean, I still paint with it once in a while, but when I saw Mike's doing it, I'm like, damn it, I want to do Swamp Thing. I like that orange glow, that I like that yellow that he used and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
Right.
I
Right.
really need to get him on here, right? Hey Phil, I really need to get Mike on here. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
talk to him and get him on here and actually do a live
Show us.
with us. Yeah,
No, you know what? Mike would definitely be a welcome to yeah here and
Hmm.
pick his brain as well too, as far as like his process.
I was trying to get next time like who I was trying to get. I got to get Dan Day on,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But Dan doesn't go on the internet very often. He's like, I have to get him on one of the days where yeah, like I wanna get him on just for just just talk about his process and stuff like that,
Right. Yep.
right? I want to get Hugh, I guess, Hugh
Right.
Rockwood on
Yep.
there,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to get what's his name, Serge, on here too,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
right? Get him on here so he can maybe work on a sketch cover, and he's pretty quick with the color markers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I want to talk to him how did he do in the Vancouver Comic Con. I think he was out there,
Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and I think they're all going to yeah, they're all going to Calgary soon.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you should get like Surge in here as well too, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk to the guys and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, I might need to talk to what's his name at VonCon. Um,
Bruno
yeah, Bruno.
or Angelo?
Yeah,
What about him?
I don't know because I did a lot of card stuff. I don't know if I should be there or not. because a lot of his show is based on cards, right?
Right, right.
For the upper
You're,
deck
you're, you're a
and
pretty
stuff.
cool guy as well too to deal with. I don't know if you guys ever.
Yeah, I dealt with him before. The first few Von Cons and stuff like that. I made those little trailer for him at the very beginning. Remember?
Oh, right, right.
Right. So, yeah. I haven't booked a table or anything like that because um, you went the last venue, right? When I
Right.
had my medical incident there
Yes,
and all that
yes.
stuff. How was the parking situation? Did they figure it out to make sure that all the vendor park away from the building, kind of thing, or
I don't recall having any issues at all. So
okay?
yeah, I don't recall having that issue the last show. I feel like it was resolved by then.
Wow, that looks great. Let me see if I can get Ollie on the screen here.
Yep.
There you go. Nice.
Good. Thank you.
That looks great.
Really great.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like if, like the idea is like he was a gargoyle, right?
Yeah. I have
So
this cover. I just gotta sit down and draw. But I like what you did there.
yeah, just imagining like he is like also a gargoyle, but
Hmm.
as a not as a statue, but more of like
Are you gonna
but
keep
same
it?
same pose.
Are you gonna plan to ink it or anything like that, or are you gonna keep it like that?
Most likely I'll ink it and color it if I have time,
Right.
maybe before Niagara Falls Comic Con.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
Nice.
but if not, yeah, I'm just gonna since we're doing this, I started, doing some working on some of my blanks. So,
Yeah. I need to get on that too for Niagara Falls. I think
mhm.
Niagara Falls will be that will be my big show. I need to get all my blanks ready because I don't know Arnold. You don't sell any of your sketch cover at any of the
Not
shows.
yet. I've been wanting to. Just honestly, it. Yeah. Um. I need to get in on that as well too, because I got so many blank sketch covers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like for me, the sketch cover, I rarely sell them at any of the pop culture smaller events
Mhm.
Right.
because those are high dollar value items.
Yeah, yeah,
They're 100, $200 for some of my blanks, right?
right,
Because
right,
like that.
yeah.
It's rare that I will get somebody who will buy that, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I sell a lot of my Inktober for $25, $30. My 9 by
Nice.
10. I
Yeah.
keep
Hmm,
forgetting
hmm.
to bring those. I keep
Yep.
forgetting to bring those, right? And I sell a lot of those, right? Because we do it every year. That's what we do, right? Inktober, we do it every year. And we kind of draw and paint on them or whatever, all in black and white. I love doing the horror stuff. And they
Oh
seem
yeah.
they seem to sell, right? I That reminds me of horror stuff. Talk about your horror thing with Niagara Falls. How was that? Did you go this year or
Oh,
last
last
year?
year.
Yeah.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? It obviously it's a niche con. People are definitely like looking for horror stuff. But funny thing is that there's a little bit of flexibility where the convention allows myself and Mike's there with me to sell other fan arts, right? So
Hmm.
it's a mix. That's how we're able to survive. That we're able to move both our horror print as well as our other fan art, like your typical Spider-Man or Batman, or in Mike's case, a lot of it's surprisingly Pokemon
Pokemon, yeah.
at a horror show or a horror
Ooh,
con.
wow.
Right? No, believe me, it like when Mike goes to the washroom and he asked me to like look after his table,
Hmm.
I'm constantly like having to like pull out his Pokemon, I don't know, character, because like somebody goes like, oh yeah, how much is that? Or can I get that one? And it's like,
Right.
Mhm.
oh, it's
I think
Pokemon,
he's
I'm
doing
going
it
to
on
get
purpose. I think he's going to the bathroom on purpose.
it.
Because
Exactly right.
right. So
Uh-huh.
here's our thing, Ollie. You and I
Yeah.
just don't tell Arnold that we're
Right.
both gonna go to the bathroom. And we'll let Arnold
Yeah.
and Michael sell our stuff for us.
Right. Right.
There you go.
Uh,
That's the game plan right there.
anyway, guys, this is it for me. Uh,
All right.
till next week again.
Yeah. No
All right,
worries,
Ollie.
Ollie. Have a good
Yeah.
night.
Good night. Good night, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk then.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Later, Ollie.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
But like, yeah, it's a great show. Like, honestly, like people, um, surprisingly, again, for Mike and I to actually move our stuff there, uh, it's yeah, it's mind-boggling because you think that people would just like walk past us because of what we carry.
Right.
It has nothing like, well, we do our best to have some horror, print, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, here's our regular stuff, and lo and behold, people will actually like go for those ones as well too. So I have to say it is a good show for us. So that's why we go back every year,
Right.
right? We go back every year, and the only thing is, yeah, the table can get up there,
Oh yeah.
but the best thing to do really is to share that cost. That's
Yeah.
why Mike and I,
But
when
you
we
guys are getting a 10 by 10
yeah,
though, no? Yeah.
right, yeah,
Right?
because you're not getting an artist table. You're pretty much getting a vendor spot,
Booth.
right?
Yep.
So so that vendor spot is big enough for Mike and I to you know
To sit
put
through.
our stuff, right, and share it equally. So
That's Frightmare or Fright something, right? Or
Frightmare, yeah,
yeah, Frightmare.
yeah,
That's yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of con coming up this summer, and I want to start hitting them. My health is getting a little bit better, but it's not great.
that's good to hear, man. That's good to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of frustrated. It's been a year, right?
I can
But
only
they did,
imagine.
yeah, but they did cut me open, break my rib cage, and
Ugh,
yeah, the whole bit, right? So,
yeah,
and they took arteries out of my arms and legs and my chest just to fix, what's in my chest. So, I understand. It's going to take me another year at least. That's what the doctor says, just to feel semblance of normal,
ugh,
right?
yeah,
Because I'm starting to like the nerves are connecting, and I'm starting to
right,
feel I don't know if they're called ghost pains or phantom pain or something like that, right? Like just a few like back in January, I just feel like my side of my rib cage is hurting like crazy, and I just don't know why.
really,
Well, that's because it was broken and the nerves are reconnecting, right?
yeah,
So I feel like somebody kicked me there,
right,
right? I can't sleep on my side. I can't, you know what I mean? Like I'm a side sleeper and the whole bit. So
yeah.
you kind of end up with that. Then I did the first Bolton Comic Con last week,
How was
and
that?
it was slow. No, it wasn't slow. It was busy. A lot of people showed up, but nobody bought anything.
Hmm.
Right? It was like browsers. People brought their kids, took pictures with some cosplayers. They were there, like the pop culture show. These small shows that we do at um, Legion halls and community centers are, people are there. They're going to spend $20, and that's pretty much it, right?
Right.
Especially now, right?
Yeah.
So I understand that. So I think I made about 100 to $150, but they're
Okay.
all my sketch cards, right? Like, remember I was telling you last week, I think it was like my print sales has gone down to 0 kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? I'm probably going to do liquidations and stuff. And I'm finding people are I think, buying more original art than anything else,
Right.
right? But I think it's going to be smaller, right? Yours is different because you come with a frame. I don't come with mine stuff, doesn't come with a frame,
Right.
right? I'm finding people buying my sketch card in the cases because, you know, it feels more of value when you get
Right.
it in a plastic. Like, it's very presentable,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
so are you saying that you find that you make your sales when it's encased in something?
Yeah. Yeah. People are either collecting them because of this, right? There's an inherent value on original art in a plastic case,
Right.
right? There is an inherent value when you buy something for $15 to $30 and it comes in a frame,
Right.
right? There is that physical. If I just hand over a piece of paper in a plastic bag, it just doesn't feel right anymore for some reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though my stuff is like I have to call it art print because that's what they do. I print them like 100 and they're
Yeah.
high quality cardstock. They're high quality. They're acid free. They're, that kind of stuff. But I think if I were to sell those again, if I print them on like a texture matte paper, you know what I mean? That looks like like your drawing paper kind
Yeah.
of stuff, like what you do with the texture. It
Yeah.
gives it that little bit more of I have to do more raise ink and all this other stuff, and that brings up the cost of printing, right? Because you're doing offset printing or spot color printing and all this other little things, right?
Yeah.
But in order to bring up that cost or bring down that cost, I have to print like in hundreds.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? Like, if you draw this Hulk, right? You
Yeah.
can print 5 or 10 and you'll find out in the next show if you're going to print like another 50 or 60, right?
Right.
But for me, it's like, okay, well, my commitment is a minimum 100,
Mm,
right? Just to keep the costs low, right?
right.
And I'm like, oh, well, 100, that gives me, so 100 is $2 a print. A plastic bag is another $50. Postcards, another 5-6 cents, right? As a thank you thing, right? Lugging that around. Then if I sell it for $5 a piece, right? That's
Yeah.
just breaking even. That's not counting the amount of time I sat down and painted it and, drive to the printer and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So selling it for $10 or $15 makes sense, right?
Right.
That selling like at 15 or $10 a piece, selling what do you call it? 10 of those will pay back my printing costs,
Right.
right? Then everything else after that will be, I think I have to sell an extra maybe 20 or so. And after 20, it'll be, after selling 20 prints, the rest is just profit, right?
Right.
Somewhat, anyways, right? So that's how I calculate my costs for what do you call for doing cons, right? Beside
Right.
paying for the table, travel time, breakfast, gas,
Yeah.
all these little things that we do. Yeah, I feel like sometimes when we do these I feel like we're just chasing the tail, I guess,
Yeah.
or the
Well,
car.
that's why we have to be kind of like selective as far as which con we
Yeah,
also want to go to, right?
yeah,
And I've always told people, they always ask me, why don't you ever do the Toronto con? And yeah,
it's
it's just
just
unfortunate that like the table costs so much that.
just for Toronto. All right.
But it's not just also. I mean, like I feel like I could afford it, but I really want to. But you know what my real problem is? Is that being in that artist alley, and actually it's not just me. Like people have like expressed it too. The people that walk through it is that I just get lost in that crowd. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I've gotten so many like people, like even when I was at the booth at the Gotham booth, right? I get so many people, kind of like thanking me that like, oh, I can find you here, great, because trying to walk through that artist alley is horrendous because people are just like bumping into each other or whatever, right? It's just the
Yeah.
alley is just so small, right? That it's hard to really connect or like have people just stand there and then admire your work or at least decide what print they want because they're getting pushed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was going like, it served me no purpose. Like, I guess, yeah. So hey, with all due respect, I mean, like they do bring in the crowd, but it worked for their benefit, but not for me.
Yeah. It's the con, the big cons um, has become a pop culture event.
Yeah.
I know a lot of cosplayer that shows up at any cons, they barely buy anything because they're busy taking photos with other people and other
Yeah.
stuff, right? That's what I noticed with the cosplayer, especially the pretty young lady with this exposed skins and stuff like that, right? They
Mm,
get the most attentions, or the really cool armor guy, and
mhm.
there's always a handler with him, right, or her, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing, and they barely buy anything. That's really what they are, right? They're there at the show just to.
I hear that a lot from other artists as well too.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't blame them. I mean, they spend a
yeah,
lot. They're artists themselves. I love talking to them. I love
yeah.
looking at them because some
But
of the stuff they do is.
mm,
I'm very curious at how they painted some of the textures on some of the armors and stuff like
exactly.
that, right?
Well, not to toot my own horn, but like it I'm actually surprised that like some of them do actually stop by my table and grab
That's
prints,
good. That's good.
right? So I'm going like, yeah, sometimes that argument or like whatever that statement can be true to a certain degree, but like I hate this. Like no, I you know playing devil's advocate here. Like they do come find, especially so for example like Red Hood, for example, the character, right? Like
Yep.
somebody that's cosplaying Red Hood would run to my table and grab my Red Hood print,
That's nice.
right? And yeah, and I've gotten some cosplayers like follow you start following me on Instagram because they bought some a character that they were dressed as that
Yep.
day, and so no, I don't want to like I don't want to pigeonhole them saying like they're just walking around, but some of them do actually
Yeah, that's great. No, that's
do
great.
that. My only thing is, my only thing is, it's not them. It's like I feel like I don't know how this is gonna come out, but I find that us artists
Mhm.
are being kind of like pushed further away from the spotlight.
Yes.
So I find that like initially the first in line, the first thing that people will notice or would want to go to is the celebrities.
Yep.
And then comes like you'll see what's mostly promoted on convention promos or ad or whatever on their social media are cosplayers.
Yep.
And then and then you'll get the like like the professional artists, right?
Yep.
And then us, the people that are just like just regular artists or alley
They're crammed. I
we're
know.
we're 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 almost like a side note to
Yeah.
all that. And that's how I find like sometimes when conventions promote their show, they definitely spotlight more the cosplayers than they would the artists nowadays.
Yeah, I don't blame them because
I
it's
don't blame
drawing
them
a
either.
crowd. Yeah, it's drawing a crowd, right? It's drawing
Yeah,
a crowd. Sorry, it's drawing a crowd,
yeah,
and I think that's the I think that's the mentality of
yeah,
the stuff. It's up to us to try to sell, but it becomes really difficult when um, these big cons are great. They're fun to hang out with and stuff, but they become very expensive very quickly, especially when you're paying $75 to enter. You know what I mean? Or $55 or for early tickets for
mhm,
just the Saturday or the Sunday or whatever.
right.
Um, then you go up and you go, well, I need an autograph from Mark Hamill, and that's going to be a minimum of $100,
Yeah,
right? So there's my $100. I need another $100 maybe for food for the day and travel expense,
yeah,
right? And maybe I have $20 left, right? Um, for the one key comic or the Funko Pop or whatever it is
that's
that I
you.
want to get,
Yeah,
right? And that's pretty much ends it. That pretty much is my budget for that one Saturday, right?
right.
And you're looking at $200 already, right there, minimum,
Hmm.
right? And $200 at these days is like, it's not like when gas was cheap and all this other stuff where we had extra spending money, right?
Hmm.
Remember back in the days when people were just buying left and right no matter what, right? Because
Yeah,
that was,
now they're being selective.
yeah, they're being very, very selective. And
Yeah,
I think that's what's happening. I like the pop culture stuff, the smaller cons, because I expect it to be low budget stuff.
yeah,
I like the family event. I like the kids coming in. I give them free stickers. That's how I get them to my table,
yeah,
right? You just hit the dollar store, grab a pack of stickers,
yeah,
and let them run over and just hand them out to the little kids. And let them pick one, and the parents are there looking at your artwork and stuff, right?
yeah.
Right? For a pack of stickers, I'll get like $25 worth of sale.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's just that we have to come up with this stuff. Yeah. Did you see Lou's making all these with David at Pop Culture these videos?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm checking those out. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty funny. It's pretty
it's
funny.
cool.
Well, the
I'm
problem was,
collaboration.
yeah. Hey, Norman. The issue with these like if you are conning at a table or at conventions, right? It
Hmm.
is your responsibility as an artist to actually try to sell. You are now a salesperson. You are now a responsible for that. The
Right.
organizer stuff is if you can't sell anything, it's not the organizer's fault. The organizers is
You know
there
what?
to bring the customers in. Yes.
I totally totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it's really you or your stuff that needs to, it yeah, it's laid on you, not the organizer. They've done their best to bring in the crowd, right?
Right.
Um, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, I hate to say this, but like, yeah, there's some show that people complain. They're going like, nobody's buying my stuff, and then yeah, like you said, like they'll blame the organizer for like the thing, right? But at the same time, we're there as well too, and we see the crowd. They are there, but you know what? Yeah, it's true. They're just being selective as far as what they want to buy, right? If they don't see anything that's interesting in your table, then that's you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's sometimes I get the comic book guys who shows up. He
Mm,
has his first comic book. He's printing it and all that stuff, and he can't sell one book for $8 or $10. And he goes away. He's all angry. He's mad and the whole bit.
hmm.
But throughout the con, you sit there and he's on his phone right?
Yeah.
And he's not pitching, he's not doing any other stuff, or he or she or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody there. That's usually what happens with the conventions. If you're so now we're, as an artist, we have to break loose from our shell.
Yeah.
We do need to talk to other people. And I tell the young artists these things too, that you have to remember these people are here or for the same thing you are. They
Right.
like comics, they like pop cultures, they like stuff, right? It's easier to talk to them because they are there for that reason. It's not like some random stranger coming off the street. Well, you will get one or two, but you know, they're not going to pay their $20 or $5 to get into a show, right? If it's
Yeah.
free to get in, they'll wander in,
Yeah.
right? But they're there for a purpose, right? They're hunting for something and they like certain things. And that's what you need to do is you need to pitch, right?
Right.
That's why I get the what's your sales pitch? What is your how do you how do you bring
Well,
somebody?
yeah.
So
You
how
also
do you
gotta
attract
make
somebody?
sure. Sorry, you also have to make, and this is what I find, like, you also got to make sure that you're not scaring off, like overselling or over pitching, because I find that also intimidates the buyer.
Yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
gotta be some sort of balance when you're pitching your stuff.
How do you get somebody over to your table sometimes? What is your tactic?
On like my tactic really? So if I'm gonna share,
Yeah.
you know, they people will come to my table, but my tactic is that through my display. So my display before was I would have my display behind me. Okay,
Yep.
it would be behind me, and then I find that when it's behind me and people want to look at it, then obviously they have to come forward to see a bit, get a better look. But
Hey,
I got
Hey,
Naman in here. Hey, Arnold, this is Naman.
hey, Arnold.
hey, Nauman, how you doing?
Hi, Glenn.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
So yeah, Naman, Arnold and I go way, 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 way back. We've been drawing for a
Awesome
long
looking
time.
house there, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You miss Oliver. Oliver also. It's one of those things where it was a mistaken identity. These guys thought I was Filipinos, and I thought they were Vietnamese. That's how it works. Through the whole time.
Yeah, I would have never socialized with you when I thought you were Korean. And
That's right.
You were Vietnamese. I go, no way, man.
So a lot of the time, like we're talking about like conventions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Arnold and I do a lot of conventions.
I'm gonna turn the camera to. Hold on.
Yeah. You're welcome to chime in. We're talking about how do we get people to our table.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So just to kind of So as I mentioned, like I find that people get intimidated or get kind of scared off because they think I want to throw a sales pitch to them once they get close to me. So I've been noticing that. So now my thing now is that as you've seen my table.
Yeah.
You see that now I actually put it on top of the table to have it more closer to them, that they don't need to kind of like move too forward for them to kind of think that, oh, the moment they're within certain line, that's when I'm gonna like try to entrap them, right?
Right.
So once they're there, they're just looking at my work. I'll greet them. Honestly, I'll just greet them and say, hey, hi, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here. And that's all. I don't throw any sales pitch. I don't go like, oh, you know what you need today, blah, blah, blah. No. The only time I do engage with them is when I actually can see that, like, man, they've been standing there for so long. It looked like they're debating whether they should buy it or not.
Right.
And that's when I know that I feel like they're really interested in a piece,
Right.
and that's when I'll just go, something caught your eye, didn't it? Or didn't it, right? And
Right.
that's when they'll nod, and then I'll kind of also like kind of like feel that out, like read the room. It's like, okay,
Right.
the moment I start talking to them, did it seem like they're like, did they like step backward, or did it look like they're gonna like they want to like talk more about it? And when I see that they want to talk more about it, then that's when, yeah, in a way, that's when I start throwing my sales pitch. Like, oh, you're in a Red Hood costume. I guess you're a Red Hood fan. And they go, yeah. And then that's when they'll go, yeah, I really love I really love your print there. How much? And boom, right there and then. Then that's when I know that I can actually like, okay, let's talk about this more. Like, if if you're really interested, right? But
Right.
yeah, so really big, like, if anything, I let them decide. I'm not aggressive to the point where like, oh, they're still like 2 feet away and I go, hey, I know you want to buy something. No, because I don't know, I feel kind of like, ugh, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I would. I guess for me, it's like I would never want somebody to approach me that way. Like, let me admire the work first, right? Let me, even in the department store, let me browse around, see what I want, because you don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I want something.
So your technique is let the artwork do the sales for you.
Right.
If somebody's interested, they'll approach. If they're not, they're just gonna walk by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in the moment, like, I know that like when they've been standing there too long
Yep.
enough, then that's when I go, okay,
Yeah.
that I know this is when I can finally like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess that's my tactic, right? That's,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you said.
I need to I'm always constantly trying to see if I can do something with my backdrop. But if I move everything over, but my problem is if I put my stuff in front, I'm gonna be like 20 feet high, right? Because they're all 11 by 17 and they're, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's my only issue, I think.
Okay.
But I bought these new T-bars kind of stuff. Remember at the when Pop Culture had that little bar that goes on the side of the table and it cut across and he has that flag?
Right.
So I bought one of those from Amazon where it's adjustable. It's for like home decoration. When you put flowers and party decorations on the stuff and candles underneath the table and all that stuff. So I'm trying to rework that.
Mm.
But my issue is I'm gonna bring like I need more room on, like, I need to display sketch covers. I need to display sketch cards. I need to display, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I really have three products. I have, well, original art is basically sketch cards, uh, then like 9 by 12. Then the print is really secondary. Well, the print is my main thing where I make a lot of my table back real quick because the print is the cheapest.
Right.
Like if I do these small conventions where they are at the arena, hockey arena, the Legion halls, and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
I will get the one true, like once in a while, I'll get the original art collector who will buy my Inktober for $35 or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I could lower that down to 15 and still make some money off of it because I find those to be my brush ink stuff. We do it every year, right? Inktober we do every year, right? Norman,
Oh,
do you
you do.
participate in Inktober at all?
I did it one time.
That's
I did
it?
1 year. I did it 1 year.
You wanna
Again.
you wanna you wanna do an Inktober? Like every day we do a show for an hour or so?
Yeah, I would love to do Inktober.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
You want to do that, guys? I mean, we just go on and do one day, get K-pop, get Bleecker, get some of these guys and stuff like that. And we do this Inktober for 31 days and see what we come up with. I know K-pop. I don't know if she's still in the audience. She loves horror stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Mm.
just doing. We pick a horror like so. So the way I do things in Inktober is, um, the easiest way is because you get these 31-day prompt. The easiest way is to pick a theme, right?
Right.
So if we, because it's Halloween, let's pick horror. And you can get away with anything with horror. If the word is toaster, you can draw a toaster with blood dripping out of it, with a finger dangling out. You just get away with that, right? Uh,
Little ball with the bleeding crack.
yeah, anything. So you pick a theme, like, for example, the one year I just picked Disney theme for all my Inktober, and that was a challenge on its own because the way I did it was, one of the word was diamond, and it's like, oh shoot, is there anything in Disney that has diamond, right? And I got lucky, and it was what do you call it? The Great Mouse Detective. Remember the rescuer? I think it was called the
Yep.
rescuer. That lady, what's her name? It's kind of like Cruella, trying to get that little girl into the well with the gators and to
Yep.
get that diamond, right?
Yep.
So those are the kind of things, right? Like, you get the word fear, and I used Ichabod Crane, right? The headless horseman. Brave or cowardice, and I use remember Robin Hood wearing with the lion and the snake, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it was all Disney, right? So you pick a theme and you kind of draw towards that theme, right? And it makes it a lot easier, right? I've seen
You know, you know what I realized when I was doing the Inktober, what I
Yeah.
realized was make it small. Make it
Yes,
small.
you do. We'll do sketch cards or 4x6 or something,
Yeah.
right?
Uh,
Those are fun.
yeah.
They are a lot of fun. It is a challenge. It's more fun when you have a group of people together.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna try that this year. We have StreamYard, and we'll get everybody. And at the end of the month, you have stuff to bring to conventions.
That's true.
That
Yeah.
is that was my goal, was just I have stuff now I can sell at conventions because I'm gonna do it every year,
Yeah.
right?
So, slightly off topic here, but I want to ask Nama. Nama, do you do convention?
No. No. People accuse me of stealing someone's table. I didn't, but whatever.
Uh,
So
No.
there, Nauman is a comic book collector.
ah,
He's into I guess Golden Age Superman and all the other stuff, right? Nauman,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
So he's got some really good books. Nauman is a YouTube community. This is how I discovered these guys. The YouTube community in comic books. I first discovered CJ, which is Comic Journey, through my Whatnot stream. I think he was in my stream, and he followed me, and I followed him back, and I found out there was a YouTube channel and all this other stuff. Then I start finding that these guys, they did these things called Insomniac. They were up all night, and because I had Insomniac too, I would be up with them, and I was just drawing in the background. They would run in the background, and that's how
Right.
I met Nauman. I was drawing one night, and he was just trying to draw, and I was in the chat that says, "Hey, loosen up, move your finger around." then then he gave me a link, and I jumped on, and that's how we met. That's
Right.
how, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Okay. I was just curious because, like, Nama, you got some skills there.
Yeah, yeah.
Artwork. So that's really cool. I don't know if that's just a study that you're doing there, but
Well, I'm it's supposed to be Spectra, and I'm trying to figure out. I gotta draw a spectra for this guy, so I'm trying to find the right. So this is basically practice. Of, so I'm trying to draw a spectra. He wanted something in action, so I want to, you know, So does she look like a female? Does she look like a female?
It looks abstract, like the
Huh?
bottom one,
Yeah.
but like all the other ones, you can definitely see the shape or like the feature of the.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I'm trying to make it so that it's a character called Spectra, and he kills people a very strange way, right?
right.
He's
That's cool.
yeah, so I decided that I want to. He's always been killing men. Always been killing men. I've never seen him kill a woman so far. So I'm making
Oh,
sure
yeah.
he's killing a woman. So, but,
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, yeah, art is a hobby of mine. I'm really glad that I don't have to make my living on art.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had that similar conversation today with a coworker.
Uh-huh.
So same thing here too. Like I make my living off my other full-time job, and this is also just a hobby for me.
Ah,
You
okay.
know. So I feel like we're blessed to have some sort of skill and talent that we can make extra money on the side with it.
Yeah. I don't think if I have to make a living at it, then I'll be stressing out here and there, and things that you guys have to go through. I don't envy that. I'm sorry,
Right.
and I wanna be able to support the artists, but you know, um, yeah, I'm really glad that I have a steady job too. So, uh, but when I retire, maybe I'll worry about going to shows and stuff. But yeah, I'm just glad that I can really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, that's what this is, right? This is all of us. This is how I relax. It's crazy. Sometimes it stresses me out, but this is how I relax, right? It's kind of like a double-edged sword sometimes,
It
right?
is. Like I mean,
And
like people can say like, yeah, when we prepare for a convention, it's a little bit stressful because like we got all these logistics that we're thinking about, like whether like
yeah,
okay, what printer we bring or how many prints are we bringing, uh, hotel,
yeah,
food, table, how we're gonna like do our setup. All these logistics is like in our head, and it's like yeah, it gets a little bit overwhelming at times. But like you said, Locke, it's like
mhm.
it's something that we still enjoy. In
Yeah.
the end.
It's weird, eh? It's kind of like a crack addict, man. You know, it's one of those things where convention is really bad for you, right? It brings
Yeah.
up your high blood pressure. It's all this other stuff. You're stressing out. You're driving out there. Doesn't matter. Rainy days, sunny days, and all that stuff. And
Yep.
and you're sitting there, and the first thing you stressed about is, did I make back my table? Did I make
Yes.
back my table? Did I make back?
yeah,
Okay, so you make back your table. Thank God. Whoo! Did I make back my hotel? Did I make back
Yeah.
my hotel? Okay, good. Whoo! That's over
Right.
with, right? And you're like, I just did my hotel, and it's Sunday. It's the last day of the show. Oh God! Now I have to scramble. I gotta make profit because I had to pay for parking. I had to pay like food. Oh, I brought my nephew along who eats like a horse. Those little things, and I don't know why we do it. And every year at the end of on Sunday night, it's like, F this show. I'm never gonna come back. And the following year, I'm back.
let me
Well,
let me
no.
ask, let
Yeah.
me ask you guys something here. Let
Mm.
me ask you guys now. When when you're living off art, you have to constantly produce, right? I mean, unless you're selling prints or stickers
Even
or
if you're selling prints, you do need to refresh it all the time,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But
Um, yeah,
basically, you're living off of the work you produce.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't get reoccurring pay. I mean, unless you're doing the prints and stuff solely. I mean, you constantly there's not an inventory that. I mean, you guys have lots of inventory or
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
prints, a lot of stickers.
Well, for
What
me, I
are
mostly
what are some easy monies for you guys?
yeah. For me, I mostly sell like I don't have any stickers. I don't have any other like thing except for prints that are framed. Um, yes, I have a large inventory, and that's only because um, for
It's the print.
example, Batman and Spider Man, they're popular, right?
Right.
When you catch a fan of those character and they like your artwork, one thing I find is they'll request other characters within that universe, within the Batman universe, within the Spider-Man universe. So,
Right.
as an example, I did a Batman print and a Batman Beyond print, and that got the ball rolling. As far as like after they bought it, they go like, "Are you gonna do Nightwing? Are you gonna do Red Hood?" And then I said, "Well, there's enough interest." And fortunately enough, there was. So once I did the Nightwing and the Red Hood, then my repeat or my customer would come back and buy that, and then they'll go like, "Are you gonna do Robin? Are you gonna do Batgirl?" So that's where my inventory starts building up. But that's only based on requests, like popular requests, right?
Yeah.
And it
Right.
happened as well too with the Spider-Man universe, like Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah,
those are those. So you're doing a lot of fan art then, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. You produce your own art? You have your own character?
Sorry.
You have your own character there, original art, original
Um,
character.
Yeah, you had that book too.
yeah. So I did have a book back then. It's called Toy Soldiers.
Uh huh.
Um, but here's another thing. If anybody's watching this, but the funny thing is, initially when I first started doing the convention, that's what I came out with. My own creation, my own book.
Yep.
Right.
But as we all know, anything that's not familiar
Normal.
or
Yep.
that are unknown to the people that are attending the show, they'll just walk by you unless you really catch their attention with whatever, right? But
Yep.
bottom line for me, nobody was batting an eye.
Yep.
So the moment
Mhm.
I start dropping fan art on my thing, then that's when people start,
Pay
oh,
attention.
pay
Yeah.
attention. Like, oh,
Right.
who's this guy? Oh, okay, let me buy a print. And then to the point where like as the years go by, and this is what I'm saying, like, keep doing the convention, people start getting familiar with you. And the funny enough, 5 or 10 years later, after producing that book, now this is the time when people are asking, "Do you have a book?"
Yep.
Ah.
Right? So it's like,
Especially.
oh, you have to build your audience, but
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
uh,
It is a very tough sell to sell your own book.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's even harder for me because I do variant cover, right? I do
Uh,
variant cover for Kickstarters. I do a lot of variant covers for smaller um, indie creators,
uh-huh.
and most of these, what I do is I don't even charge them. I require comp books, right?
Mhm.
Because I know $300 to $400 for a cover for some of these indie creators is printing costs, right?
Right.
They have to upfront printing costs and stuff. So I don't charge them for that. I said, give me 15 copies of your book, right? Or
Mhm.
20 copies of your book or 30 copies of your book, right? Depending if on certain books, right? If I did it interiors, then I asked for more, right?
Mm.
A lot of my comps for interiors are about 30 books or so, right? So I get those. But again, it's one of those indie creators are then at the show, I'm finding that unless I'm at a big conventions like your Heroes Con. For us up here, it's Niagara Falls Comic Con, the Toronto Comic Con, the Fan
Mhm.
Expo. Those or the Montreal or the these big huge Fan Expo based stuff. It's still very tough to bring those inventories of books.
Right.
Before I was bringing all 30, and I'm lugging around like pounds and pounds of books, right?
Right.
I might have done like at least 40 variant covers by now, 40, 50, 60 variant covers. I forget. I lost count for these creators. And, you know, I got stacks of books here that I could barely sell, right? You end up with that kind of stuff. And because it is very hard to sell. It is very hard to sell. If, you know, Naman, if you're at a convention and I'm saying, you know,
Hey, look, I'm at that. I'm the buyer, right?
yeah,
I've been a buyer before, right? I try to avoid you guys.
yeah,
You know, I don't want to have eye contact because you guys are creating your own. I'm talking about you guys. If you're producing your own art, or something I don't recognize, you know,
yeah,
I'm going. I try to avoid your eye because I
yeah.
don't want to.
Unless your art is phenomenal on
Right,
that
right,
book, right?
right.
Something that will drag you in, then otherwise, like if I did a fantasy novel or a fantasy comic book or something like
Mhm.
that, I would have paintings with dragons and covers and other stuff
Right,
that you'll see that theme, right?
right.
And that's when people gravitates towards it because those are the fantasy people, those are the D&D people. They'll come by and go, oh, that's a great painting of that, blah blah blah. Well, here, this is my book, this is about so and so. That's how you would sell it. But it's
Mm.
still, it's a big huge commit to drop $10 for a floppy, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It is, right? It
yeah.
is, right? Like, right? So that's what we find tough. And especially somebody who does variant covers. So I do variant covers and I show up at shows and I used to put all these books out and people are like, "Oh, you're a comic book artist." Go, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, here's this book, this book, this book, this book, this book, this book." But they're all like issue 5, issue 2, issue 1, issue 8, issue 16, issue my variant cover. And like, well, do you have this other book? And no, I don't. Right? And like, why am I going to spend like $10 on a book of issue 4, for example, if
Mhm.
I can't issue 1, 2, and 3? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm not. Before I went to conventions and stuff, I fantasize about being my own, you know, having stuff out there and selling stuff, my own art and stuff. But when I saw like you know, Mike Grill,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
I went out there and man, that guy was like Mike Grill is like one of my heroes, man.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and I go, man, I want to be just like Mike Grill, you know, or what's his name, Jim Stalin, whatever these guys, you know, I see them, right? And then, you know, Mike Grill still does art and stuff, and he sells prints there, but I think he charged me $200 for uh face art, you know, 11
Yep.
by 17. But you know, he was charging for signs and way he had to make money. He was just, you know, it's not what I fantasized what what my girl was, you know.
Yeah.
And I see he's an old man. I see him, you know, going in and out with his wife. You know, it looks like he was enjoying it, but I didn't know if everything was like he was so stressed on making money and making the table that I didn't think, you know, I don't know. It just didn't feel like he was
It
a.
didn't feel glamorous. It didn't
Yeah, it
feel
was glamorous. Yeah, it wasn't glamorous. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
You
This
know,
is what this is. You have to remember that Marvel has never, DC has never. It was Stanley's who started the what do you call it, work for hire kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
where you're an independent contractors, you get no sick days, you get no health benefits, you get no, right? That's
yeah,
why you get like somebody like Jack Kirby and all these guys who were illustrators for advertisings and stuff. They drew stuff. They drew books left and right. They drew 30 books a month
Right.
or whatever, 5, 6 books a month because they need to live off of that. They didn't have vacation time. They didn't have sick days. They didn't have, right? And that has been going on for so long. That's why there was you heard about the uproar, right? Dustin Nguyen said F this Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And all he was asking for was an extra $75 for his page rate,
Right.
right? Just to keep up with what's going on. And that's the thing, right? Even if you look online, people are like, well, I'm just looking for an artist and all I can afford is, $30 a page for sequential. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it. That's why I don't want to do sequentials, right? For $300, I can punch out a cover for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? In 2 to 4 days, I can, like, in a week, I'll paint out a cover,
Yeah.
right? That is digital, of course.
Right.
That's what I can do because it's quick. I can pay the bills. I can, all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is one of those. Are you? Sorry, Arnold. Are you paint? You're painting in
Rebel.
Rebel, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, those guys used to be glamorous. I just looked up, and you kind of sort of idealize them, right?
Yeah.
Then when you see the how food, when you see how sausages are made, you go, it's not so glamorous,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and, yeah, I mean, you really gotta push your butt if you want to make a living at art, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You end up, we're like, when we first start off, it's all about the enjoyment of it and all this stuff. And you get to a certain stage where you're just like, oh yeah, well, I have little kids. I gotta leave the lights on. I gotta, pay rent. I gotta, I can't afford sick days, and I'm churning out, like what I'm doing now. I'm churning out Marvel cards and DC cards and all for $15 a piece, right? And then I see them on eBay for $300, $400, right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, but that's a collector market, right? That's the aftermarket. And Tops and all these companies are making billions in their, all this other stuff. And you figured they, got to a point where they can pay the artist a little bit better because that's what drives that industry,
Yeah.
right? And there's that too, right? At the top is the CEO. I mean, you can get rid of a CEO of a company and the company still functions. But if you get rid of all the people that works at the bottom, the company's, the CEO can't do any of that stuff, right? What he's going to do, right? So yeah, it's
But that's not what these guys grease are endless, and they pay you guys nothing, and
yeah.
they,
That's why we do this. It's more Arnold and I and all this stuff. We met through conventions in the Toronto area. We met through these events that happened, and we kind of became friends. And as an artist, it was our regular meetup at these conventions. It's really what it was, because we were in our own separate silo. We have our own life. We all the other stuff. And when we're surrounded by other artists, it's very inspiring.
right.
It's kind of like that shot of adrenaline, meeting your fellow artists and your friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like what we're doing now. I love doing this because I need somebody to talk to. I want to see like the technique that Arnold, technique that Oliver does. I'm going to try to get my other friends on here, right? Some does gouache painting, some does stuff for IDW, some stuff does for other groups and stuff like that too, right? And they're all Canadian, right? And we're trying to make ends meet, and we met on Facebook groups and stuff like that. and we're all talking about like, okay, where do you get your material from? Where do you get this from? What you find, you know, how do you get into conventions? How do you, where you set up, and how do you find what technique works best, right? At the end of the day, we're all in the same area.
Yeah.
we're all fighting for that $20 from that one customer, right?
Right.
And that's what it is. And yeah, it is a different time. Manga is killing us. That's what this is.
Yeah, I was saying maybe you guys ought to be manga artists.
Yeah, but manga artists, I feel sorry for them. These guys too, they don't get paid very much either. They're
No,
dying
I'm
at
talking
the drawing
about
table.
at the go to those anime shows, anime manga shows,
Yeah,
and if you have booth out there, it creates up. I mean, the type of things they draw is not that hard. And
wow. It may not look that hard, but it's a technique of its own,
of course,
Yeah.
of
right?
course. I'm not trying to say. I'm not trying to diss one
Yeah.
artist to another. I mean, there's no place to. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, they
I'm
have
sorry.
their style. They have your
Yeah.
look. They sell way better than a lot of the stuff that I do. I guarantee
Yeah.
you that. Um, for the stuff. I mean, the first con I was at was just last week,
Yeah.
and I brought my sketch cards in the slabs, and they were selling. Even though at this convention, it was a small town, there was more browsers than buyers.
Right.
People come in with their kids. Most of these towns, tickets for a Comic Con for these is non-perishable food for the food bank, where you get in for free, like a bag of that, or $5 for an entrance, right? If you pay for, I think it was like the $10 or $15, the VIP one, you get a bag of loots, right? Some Funko Pops, some whatever random stuff that was in there. Some people buy that, right? So you kind of end up with that, right? I was shocked because I was giving out these thank you cards with the digital painting of my Pikachu stuff, and I just got a phone call today from the organizers. It's, hey, because I left a whole stack for them to put into their loot bags, and people were loving it, and they're like, hey, can you get more?
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, I'll bring a whole stack for you to give out, and all the other stuff, right? Because I made these lawn signs for the organizer, the pop culture stuff, and they had my Carnage characters, my Venom characters on it, my Deadpool, my Pikachu, all these paintings. And David called me up and go, dude, they're all being stolen.
No way. That's funny.
He's asking for like A-frames where he can lock them in, because now you got to steal the metal frame with it, because we were pulling them out of the lawn, right?
Oh wow.
He put them in the hallway with the arrows that says, the Comic-Con's this way. People would rip them off the wall and steal them, right? 'Cause they got
Really?
Deadpool on them, but they're on the corrugated boards and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So, those are the things you run into. But again, it's when you're doing a convention, Arnold and I were talking about, okay, how do we get somebody to our table? Is it we get a lot of people who complain that it's the organizer's fault that we're not doing sales.
I mean,
Right?
The if organizer is bringing people in, you got nothing to complain about, right?
Yeah, their job is done. Their job is done.
If
Right.
but if organizer not bringing anybody in, then there's a problem, right?
Yeah,
Right.
there's some logistic too that could be organizers' fault if they decided to wall off a section and not tell anybody that, right?
Yeah. Like
that could be the issues
People-
too. But
if
sometimes,
the organizer favors like other vendors,
Yeah.
If they favor them and they don't look, for instance, there's artists, there's vendors, there's
Yeah.
celebrities.
oh, yeah, I've Arnold can attest to this. At
Hmm.
at shows that I've been back multiple times that I told them that I will never come back to, right? Arnold was there when I'm fuming that I made my table or didn't make my thing. I said, I'll never effing come back to this place again. This place sucks, blah, 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 right? Next year, I'm sitting next to him, all happy as a guy. It's like, well, you said you're never going to come back. I didn't say that. It's like selective amnesia, and Arnold can attest to that, right?
True. Yep.
What are you talking about, Willis?
Here you are. I mean, like,
What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, that's really what it was. It's we complain. It's because it didn't go the way we wanted to go, right? Some show I walk away and I'm limping away. It's like, why are you limping? I have so much money. It's dragging my ass. My wallet is so heavy that I can barely
Does
walk.
that happen? Really? Give me some of your success stories. Give me some of your
Yeah.
success stories.
Like some shows where it was unexpected, right? They're really far away. They're 4 or 5 hour north of us, right? It's like driving into some small town, right? That is so remote. Like they're not anywhere near like a major metropolis, right? You go in and it takes you like 6 hours to drive there. You have to get hotels. You set up the next day. It's a 1 day show or a 2 day show. And then you find out that, you made like $1,000 to $2,000, right?
yeah.
Like, whoa. And this is just art stuff. It's not Funko. It's not collectors. It's not vintage comics. It's not, I understand those people. They show up with long boxes and they walk away with $3,000 to $4,000, right?
Right.
And they're selling their, key collectors at, 15, 20. These are collectors stuff. But if I'm showing up at a show and I'm selling prints, just prints for $10, $15 a pop, and I'm making $1,000 or $2,000, that is just ridiculous. Especially when a table only costs me $60, hotels $100 maybe, and gas is another $100, and food and all that stuff.
Right.
And you're like, wow, that's enough for me to order more prints or art supplies and all the other stuff. So I've seen that. Arnold's seen some of those shows where he's been to some shows where he just made killing, right? Just killing.
Yeah. Well, what we were talking about earlier on, it's like there's certain shows that I know, like, I don't think I was that vocal, but I pretty much know. I go like, no, that's it. Like, I'm not gonna be going to this show. But there are some shows, and I'm gonna throw it out there, like Montreal Comic Con and Niagara Falls Comic Con. It'd be a 3-day show, and Friday, I've already made my table back, my gas, my hotel, and so the rest of the weekend it's just profit. And then that's also including prints. So yeah, I'm already like, Saturday comes, great. Sunday comes, it's like, yeah, I can sit back if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
There have been some shows like that, and then I've actually experienced that more so in Montreal, and that's the sad part. I have to travel outside of my own city to be successful.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it happens. It happens. That's the thing, right? I wish I would show up to shows and everybody know who I was, but then I have my followings. Sudbury is like 4 hours from Toronto here. It's north of us. This is Snowbelt. This is, you're driving into what they call the Canadian Shield. It's mostly rocks and swamps and all this other stuff, right? You're going up to a mining town. This is a mining town, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't get a lot of pulp culture stuff. But you show up and you set up and you are the new guy in the bunch, you're making a killing. That's how it is, right?
We got Virginados here.
Yeah, right. It is. You get that, and like as artists, we like these small shows. The big shows always grabs the big celebrities, like we talked earlier, right? People spend their money on celebrities, tickets to get into the event, take their photos with their cosplayers. They go to panels and stuff. And we'll be lucky if we can get $20, $30 from our stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Arnold's a different beast. He's got his techniques, and other stuff where he's no longer in Artist Alley if he can avoid it, right? He'll piggyback off of somebody's booth or something like that. They sell better than the Artist Alley because the Artist Alley on these big shows has become really, really tough. It's a really tough sell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know. So what's give me some detail on what you're doing.
Sorry? Yeah, what detail do you...
Arnold, we have this really fantastic LCS, the local comic book shop up here. It's called Gotham City Central. You might have seen Comic Vet.
Yeah.
He likes this shop, and we know this person who owns it, Carlos. He's really good with creators.
Very supportive with creators.
Yeah, he's very, very supportive.
Oh,
he always does these. His birthday bash are always a lot of fun. He brings artists. He brings most of these artists you've known, like Francis Manipo. Who else? Casey Parson. All these other stuff, and then Casey and I all started together. Arnold's all. We showed up at what was it? Capes for Kids.
Sketches for Pledges.
Sketches for Pledges. Yeah, that was for like Children's Hospital here. It's called the Holland Bloor Group. So,
Holland Bloor. Yeah, Bloorview Hospital.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a sick kids hospital for children, and they do these things called Capes for Kids.
Oh, Cape for Kids. Yeah, Cape for Kids. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's basically superhero event for kids, but Carlos, who owns Gotham City Central.
Gotham Central Comics.
Yeah. It's literally near the airport in Toronto here. It's a district called Mississauga, right? It's like 15 minutes away from me if there's no traffic, and I'm driving right now at midnight.
Yep.
In the daytime, it will take me an hour to get to his place, right? Because that's how bad the traffic in Toronto is, right? But he does these events where he brings out artists, he sets up table. His facility it's gorgeous. It's just packed full of comics and pop
toys,
culture, collectibles, candies, the whole bit. Arnold had the advantage of living nearby, so he just runs in almost every day.
I bike over there.
yeah, right. And that's Carlos does these events where he invite artists and stuff, and we meet a lot of these artists. Some makes it to Image, some makes it to other stuff, and Arnold and I are relegated to conventions, right?
Yeah.
But and Arnold volunteers a lot with the comic book shops for these big, huge events, right? And in return, Carlos gives him booth space on his thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like not just the volunteer thing. Like, I also help out. Well, volunteer, but part of that would be like, setting up the booth at the con or tearing it down, because that's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work. Right?
Sounds interesting.
So yeah, I mean, Carlos does these birthday bashes where he invites indie creators out, and he literally, if I bring a bunch of books there, Carlos will put them on his shelf.
Yeah.
Right. That's how good he is. Right. He's willing to push indie creators and stuff like that. Right. He'll help them with their books, their art books. He'll put them on the shelf. Right. Yeah. And you can go in, grab books and sign items and stuff. Right. He wants me, He wants to set up a signing with me for all the sketch cards that I've done for Marvel something,
Nice.
right? But again, it's like, well, I don't have any of those, Carlos. You gotta pay 180 something bucks for a box, crack it open, and look for the cards I've done, and I'll do signing on those. Because I ain't I ain't going out and spending $300 for the Marvel X-Men hit that from Tops, right? $3.99 for a box, right?
That's a, but it's pretty amazing that he got a local support like that.
It is, it's rare that you'll get that. I mean, most of the cities around here, you'll get the one LCS that will support local artists and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, if I can just shout out those other comic book that I can name off the top of my head. Even in Niagara Falls, you got like Mostly Comics and Freak Show Comics. They're also
Oh
very
yeah, Freak
supportive,
Show. Forgot about too.
right?
Yeah.
They're very supportive as far as like giving some sort of like venue for artists to promote or sell their work, right?
Yeah.
I know one of my first one before Gotham. Like I love Gotham. Don't get me wrong. That's like my second home. But there's another comic book store. I don't know if you're familiar, Locke. Image Collection in
Yes.
Ville.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was my first supporter when I was first starting out, and I always have to give him props, like for giving somebody like me, an unknown, and my art was very, very weak back then, to give me like some sort of like space at his store to kind of like. So now it's like, yeah, I'm forever grateful, and then that kind of like, I guess, I don't know, generosity has also extended over to the other stores that I mentioned, like
Yeah.
Gotham Central Comics and Freak Show and Mostly Comics. And, there was at one point also, there was like Stadium Comics that was in Brampton. That also,
Are they still there? Stadium?
unfortunately, no, they're not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they shut down.
Yeah. And then there was a comic book warehouse. That's another one that I'm going like, oh man, I feel so humble. Because like, he's always inviting me to their events. It's like, yeah, for an unknown guy, like they just have the door open for you.
Wow.
So,
Well, things like that must be the win, right? That's the win, right?
yeah.
You know.
It's gotten to a point where now you heard that Diamond got bought, right?
Yeah.
Diamond? Yeah. By Atlantic Alliance Distribution or something. That is an entertainment company. That is a collectible companies and stuff.
Right.
So I don't know what will happen. I think the indie market is dead. The only way that it's going to survive is through Kickstarter. So the only other way some sort of indie market survive is through local LCS. But it's a really tough call for let's say me, for example. If I come up with my own book, unless you are in my city, you'll never know, I have a book unless I do like Kickstarter. But even then, that's a tough sell. Like for you to walk into an LCS and randomly see my book on a shelf
Right.
would be almost impossible now with Diamond being gone, right? That's the thing. Unless somebody like Lunar or something will pick up indie books. But what's the point for them to pick up indie books when they have a contract with Marvel and DC and Image and stuff like that they can guarantee that those books will sell? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's going to be a struggle. I think it's going to be a struggle for the indie markets, right? So yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I know I interviewed some of these you know,
Kickstarter guys.
Kickstarter guys.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, if you're good, right, you still got a lot to bring into the system, right? You
Hmm.
can and and if you're not good and you still make it somehow, that's not really good for the indie market because then the next indie guys go, that first guy, I bought into it, but it turns out it's not that good. You gotta you gotta you gotta have a talent in the indie market, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna let the talent float up or the best guy that has the best campaign?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's really where this is where story comes in. This is where comic book comes in. As long as somebody creating stories and stuff, I'm okay with that, right? I'm always been an indie guy. I always love growing up these indie books that were non superhero related, but that's me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love different art style. I love different stuff, right? And but again, I still bought my Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, my Punisher book, a few X-Men, some New Mutants. Those were my go-to because they were available on the shelf. When I got older and living in downtown Toronto, I found like the Silver Snail, the Beguiling, these comic book stores were the big ones where they carried indie books, like lots of indie books. These were, I didn't know there was a huge subgenre. This is where CJ would jump in and, say it's a zine or it's a ash can, that
Yeah,
argument. But this is where I discover what I did was called zines. Zines were in tattoo shops. Zines were at these, um, these art stores and stuff. These were little mini comic books that were printed and photocopied and left there, right? And you kind of pick up. And it's like, oh, they look like concert posters, right? Remember that, Arnold, around the area? Toronto used to be full of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along Queen Street or
Yeah, around Kensington Market and all that other stuff, right?
yeah, Spadina.
Yeah, this was the Soho district of Toronto at the time, where before the condos came in, before there was a whole, I guess, um, artists that were creating art and stuff around that time, fashions and other things in the 80s, the 90s kind of things, right? Before the yuppie moved in. And so it became one of those things, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the indie market. And I don't know what that's going to look like next year. Well, even this year, right? We're gonna see Kickstarter being flooded with lots and lots of indies because that's the only way they can fund it, right?
you ever guys seen that webtoon? You know how that works?
Yep, that too. My daughter's into reading webtoons. That's why you're not getting them to buy floppies. Floppies
Yeah,
are done. My daughter's generations, they don't buy floppies. They get it free with webtoons,
yeah.
right?
I mean, uh, my age group, having your own stuff, having your own art, having your own physical stuff, means a lot to us.
Yeah.
But for the younger generation, they've grown up in this digital age.
Well, the thing is, they don't have the space for it,
Yeah, they don't
right?
have the space, they don't have and so and they all they know is the virtual stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay for them to enjoy webtoon, right? And I can always come back to, it's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't It's not like you lose it once you read it. It's always there whenever you want to commit to it. So, uh, but webtoon works like a YouTube, right?
Yep.
It's like I mean, few good ones will float up, and everybody will demand a lot. A lot of But there's tons and tons and tons of mediocrity.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's that one mediocrity story might, that might resonate with somebody and becomes popular, and you get
Yeah.
a new artist and all the other stuff on it too, right? Without them, that's the thing, right? I think if that industry kind of dies, the only thing you're gonna left with is Marvel, Image, and
Yeah.
DC.
Honestly, Marvel, Image, and DC. Reason manga doing better is because they're not stuck with I honestly think the Marvel, DC gonna die out when people like us are dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, and because the problem with them is that, like I was talking about this today. I went to watch Snow White, right?
hmm
I enjoy it because I'm a nostalgia kind of guy.
Hmm.
But nowadays, you can only make movies if a lot of people like it, right? Because you're spending tons and tons of money
yep,
making movies, and only people who can really make the movie is Disney, Marvel. I mean, Marvel, Disney, or the same thing. So
yep,
Paramount. That's it. Other independent makers, they cannot make movies because these guys with these IPs, they hug everything. They are on top of the food chain, and they made it so that any movie anybody else have to make, they have to spend that kind of money on it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Again,
the remember the indie market when the VHS came out, and you had Blockbuster, you had all these indie mom and dad stores that rented
yeah,
videos, and you had all these indie creating all these fantastic films like
well,
Toxic Avenger, then
no
Attack of the
more,
Killer Tomato, and
no more.
yeah, right,
So we're basically gonna fall with when they fall harder, right? These
yeah,
big ones. So I mean, eventually people are gonna say, "Hey, that's a Batman and Superman is my dad's thing. We don't like those things,
yeah,
you know." And then they got no one. I mean, no one else. By that time, no creators are out there that can make anything.
yeah,
And these guys, all can they do is make movies that are just nostalgia based, right?
Right.
yeah,
And then their their creative is not going to be there.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's
We
why.
need. I think that's what it is. We do need indie creators. We need
Yeah,
that, but I don't know what the future of that is going to be for the comic book here, because eventually Disney will do this. I think Disney will say, "Hey, why do we need to have Marvel executive? Why do we need to have Marvel artists and stuff? Why don't we just shut down that division and license it to, like, for example, IDW? IDW will hire all the
I,
artists.
I really liked it when Pixar was their own company.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
But now they're part of Disney. I'm going, Jesus,
yeah.
come on.
Pixar was their own company, they had to create compelling stories,
Yeah,
and they won awards, and they made millions and millions of dollars from those compelling stories. Disney took over, and now you have to follow Disney's rules and stuff, and the story is okay. My daughter doesn't watch some of the movies over and over and over again compared to what when Pixar was
right.
at the time, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's a different thing, right? Some movies you gravitate towards because they were indie movies. They weren't mainstream movies, right? Like I still watch a lot of like the old
I don't know what is that? Is that a what program is that one? You
Yeah.
using?
it was Pixar, no? Toy Stories and stuff you're talking about.
No, I'm asking. I don't know if what program he's using.
Oh,
What
he's
program-
oh yeah, I'm gonna put Arnold on big screen here. There you go.
Oh,
Oh,
what's
okay.
going on?
Is
Oh,
it Photoshop? Is it Photoshop?
He's
yeah,
using
I was
Photoshop.
just doing some color management on Photoshop at one
Yeah.
point.
Hmm.
But now I'm just like, so what I'm doing, I'm just preparing. So I'm just preparing my social media. Um, so I'm just making them lower resolution. So I'm gonna post it now on my social media.
Yep.
You have your YouTube channel or IG or both?
I just have an Instagram
Hmm.
Yeah.
at the moment,
His
and
Instagram's in the social there. It's called Sketch Soldier.
yeah,
Anybody who's interested. A lot of the Instagram Olivers and all that stuff is in the what do you call it? The show descriptor. So Arnold started out using Clip Studio for the
Clip Studio?
drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Then yeah, see you can see his rough and all these layers and stuff. Then he went into Rebel.
Bell. Yep.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. I thought it was Rebel.
Okay.
It's a natural media paint software. It's kind of like Corel Paint, Painter, and
Yeah.
Art Rage, and some of these softwares and stuff like that. I have that software. I have Rebel 7, right? I just don't know. I'm a software collector. Like I have all the software Arnold has. I just don't know why I keep paying every year that I barely open and touch, right? So that's me. So that's how he does it. Then he uses Photoshop for creating his social media stuff because Photoshop has the capability to export multiple resolutions and size at the same time,
I see.
right?
Right.
So
I'm a huge anti Adobe.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, whenever they went to the subscription base, I want to be able to own my own freaking software. So
yeah,
when they went to that model, I'd say I'm going to ditch the Adobe. I used to like Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop. I used to love those products.
yeah.
Right.
Me too. I started with them for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you see these, Naman? Well, did you see what I cracked open today?
No. Oh, okay. Is that yours?
I found these at a kind of like a pawn shop collector store.
Uh-huh.
They're the 1992. They're famous comic book artists. I found 5 packs, and the guy sold it to me for $5 a pack. And they are, yeah, they are. This is what.
Oh, Will Eisner. Okay.
So they are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, guys, but like it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I still have to go to work tomorrow.
Yep, I know. That's
Hey,
why.
Arnold.
That's why I wanted to distract you.
Arnold,
Right?
I gotta go too.
So I want to let everybody know. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching on the restream, descriptions and link to the social media is in the descriptor. Thank everybody, and well, maybe we'll see you next week. And we'll talk about more of what's on. What's happening with you, Arnold? I mean, are you doing 2 cons this weekend?
Yeah, so I have 2 convention. Well, mini like from the pop culture show. I'll be in Collingwood on Saturday, and then in Angus on Sunday.
Yep, I'll see you on Sunday in Angus, and I guess Mike's going to be there too.
Mike is going to be in Collingwood only.
Oh, okay, so he won't be on Sunday. Okay, well, if you see him on Saturday, tell him I say hi. Right?
Will do.
Yep. So yeah, to follow Arnold, his sketch soldier, like soul.
Soldier. Yeah, with a soul, like with a unit. Yeah, soldier. Yeah.
on Instagram
Hey,
there.
hey, I know if you ever want to be a guest on my channel, let me know. Please.
Yep.
With the others.
For sure. Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naman, what's happening with you?
Oh, just I just did
You're doing this every week, right? Every
yeah,
Wednesday?
every Wednesday I interview artists, creators, and
Okay.
so if you want to be part of the interview, let me know. Lok was my co-host until
Nice.
yeah, I keep on forgetting to give him a link.
Yeah, you gotta give me a heads up next time, so that way I can like push this show over to the other, right? So that's
Yeah.
the only thing. We just
Yeah.
end up over double streaming. So Wednesday seems to be a good night for Ollie and myself and Arnold. And eventually, what I want to do is I'll bring on some other artists for you. They're nom, and you're welcome to jump
Okay.
into, or we'll bring it to your show.
Yeah,
Mike Ruth, he does a lot of stuff for. I think he's just finished Savage Sword of Conan, issue number 8, the cover. He did a variant cover for Titan Comics. I think there was a whole bunch of other stuff too. So
yeah. Sometimes I if they have some small stuff I could give away, I'd buy it and give it away on my
Yeah.
show. So,
Yep, on his shows and stuff. So
Yeah.
sometimes we do interview of creators and stuff like that on Naman's show. So for that part,
Okay.
yeah,
Good to know.
yeah. So
what happened?
for me, I'm still gonna be
Yeah.
here. I'm still an AI. I'm not a real human. Sometimes I draw 3 fingers, like today. Yeah, I drew 3 fingers.
You see, I only see 3 fingers right there. I only see 3 fingers. See that?
That's right. Only 3 fingers because that's what they are. There you go. Right. Yeah. Other than that, thanks everybody, and yeah, have a good night, everybody. So
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
end stream.